Teach an old dog new tricks, that's for sure.
You can't. Hello, welcome to Untitled Gamer. I'm your host, Rob. I'm joined in the studio today by Mr. Nathan Prescott.
Hello.
And by Mr. James Powell.
Hi.
Or as some of you may know him, the Merch Grot. That's his new name, Nate. How do you feel about that?
Nice.
I'm really disappointed. I pulled the chat up, and the first thing I saw was someone, let's find who it was, Vanillas, said, I was really hoping we go live, and they're in sailor outfits. Now I feel like we should not go live. Go get sailor outfits. Come back.
Off our clothes. We'll do it that way.
Sailors have to be naked at some point, right?
Yeah, when they're having a bath.
Yeah.
Sorted.
I need to say hello to everyone in the chat. I want to say to everyone who's just subscribed, for instance, Chuckabutty for 26 months, miss you too. Well done on the wedding video stuff. He's doing amazing wedding videos at the minute.
Yeah, but he's never plays Warhammer, so we don't care.
He's busy. Yeah, okay. Ruskles, thanks for subscribing as well. Old Boy Phil, Bling Marine, Hook and Pin, OJ, Tomb King Tristan. That's right, Scrivo, welcome to the Grot Gang. I've decided that the chat gang, Nathan, as you know, because you constantly can't stop watching streams.
Why have they all got different colours on their names? Has
Why?
that always been like that?
It's always been like that. And also, why did you ask that question into the only space without a microphone?
Because that's the way I operate.
Or a camera.
How's this podcast going?
This thing's getting bigger and bigger. It's really hard to avoid.
Dear.
Right, okay, so welcome to you two.
Seeing you do kind of paint my face on that side, and it's going to be massive.
What are you going to do when I use this thing? Hello, welcome to, look at that. It's got like a little...
Where you can write messages.
Yeah, I'm going to write messages on here, and then... Anyway, that's for CanCon. Never mind. So, welcome to the show. Today, obviously, as you see from the title of the show, we'll be doing a review for the Kharadron Overlords Battletome. There is some news to talk about first. I want to know how you guys are, how the Twitch chat is. I would like to say a huge thank you to everyone on Patreon, supporting me, supporting the show. I hope you guys are enjoying the daily shows. Me and Patreon guys like chatting more, like requesting what they want to be on the show and stuff. So, I'm enjoying that, and they're coming up with some great ideas. So, big thanks. Also... Yesterday, and I'll get to that in the news section. And also, if you listen to the podcast, big love. Hope you're enjoying it. Let your friends know. Have a great day. Thanks for joining the hashtag Grot Gang. If you are listening and you do like it, please say just part of the hashtag Grot Gang. Yeah, hashtag, or as one incredibly annoying Trent student once said to me, hashdog.
It's important.
It's important.
Can't be racist against those dogs.
So Cold Hands in the chat has got a question straight away. Before we jump on KO, what's your opinion on the Slaves to Darkness FAQ? So we're going to talk about that. That's a big thing that's just happened. But before we do any of that, I'd like to know, James, our merch grot, how are you?
Yeah, very good.
Quickly.
All good. All is well. Anyone that's in the chat and ordered on any pre-order has had all their stuff sent out.
Yes.
All around the world.
Dice, T-shirts, hoodies. The only person who hasn't got something now is Blandy, which I'm taking to him personally.
Yeah, special delivery.
As is only befitting of the king of the universe of AOS.
There you go.
Blandy Savage. So that's cool. So yeah, thank you very much for doing that.
That's fine.
So, because some of you might not know, Nathan, have you heard about how James has gained the Merch Grot title?
No. Did you nick it?
Yeah.
Good.
Pretty much.
That's the best way to get it.
That is the best way to get it. Yeah. So we've got some dice now. I think, James, you got some examples of some dice?
Oh, we do. Do you want them now?
I'd like to see some.
I'm just going to quickly respond to Chuckabutty, who's moaning he doesn't have his top because it's been in my boot for about 9 months because I haven't seen him for about 9 months.
You're waiting to put him in your boot with his top.
Yeah. There's loads of dice, like.
I can't wait to get a roll of... Mr. T says, I can't wait to get a roll a lot of piss-off dice.
Yeah.
Apparently, I thought they would sell the worst, and apparently I'm dead wrong.
Yeah.
They sell the best.
Yeah. Second best.
Second best.
So our highest current selling dice, let me find some. So I'm going to point out, because I've made him wait, Rob has not seen the dice yet.
I haven't actually. Can I just mention that any of the dice we've ever made since Wargamer have sold before I've ever been allowed to get any. So I've always been like, they look nice at a distance, and then we haven't been able to afford any more. So James now is running the whole department separate to me, the money-hungry livestream department, because the livestream department is a bunch of dickheads, in my opinion, Nath.
Where's my shirt?
It's coming. Rob, we had a shirt for Nathan.
Do you want it?
It's got my hashtag on the back.
Does it actually?
No, it's blank. He had a blank one. You're on the next order. Right, so we're going to go through these dice. I keep losing the chat. Right, we're going to go through these dice in order. So our highest selling dice are the logo dice. You can see some
they're
as well.
really nice.
See some if you'd like.
They kind of. I like
the bubbly.
I'm not actually allowed to open these because I haven't bought them.
You can open them.
No, I'm not
I
gonna.
bag them into
I'm not
tents
gonna
because
touch
that's
them.
who I am.
Although I will be selling this set that I'm going to lay under. If anyone would like to buy the very special
Here they
set
are.
that I sleep under my bed with,
I don't know if they're in focus
for
or not.
extra luck.
But on a 6, they have a little honest wargamer.
Yeah.
Can you see? I can't see.
Yeah, you can see it
Yeah,
right there.
cool. So those are our highest selling. There are a couple of hundred left.
Thank you for subscribing, by the way. Newbingen TV, Loft Hammer. Also, I just want to say that I really enjoy his little image. And Pa, thank you for listening for 22 months. He still says listening unbelievably.
There you go.
It's fair.
So
I wouldn't believe a word either.
so that's number 1, highest selling dice.
Yeah. These are nice dice.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah. They're all good.
Very
they're all from
necromantic.
I think it's worth saying they're all from Chessex.
Okay.
So that's why they took so forever.
Piss off dice.
He won't know where that is anyway.
No.
What
Yeah.
county that is.
Yeah, where is Chessex from? What county is Chessex in?
Somewhere in America.
Wow.
Some piss off dice, which have sold second best. There's under half left
Okay.
because I had to crack the second bag today.
Okay.
And then I'm just going to say it's because his face is on them. It's the current
I don't know if
dice
this
we
is
have
good
the
TV
most
or
of. We don't care. We're talking dice.
Yeah. Also, terrible podcast.
yeah. There's nothing to say.
There you go, for the podcast.
Yep, this dice. This one has Rob's face on.
Oh, it does.
Probably my favourite colour, but
They sold the worst.
yeah, so far no one likes your face yet.
The colour is nice. And
Yeah.
I reckon you could file the face off.
Probably. That filed off size is definitely a 6.
Worth it. Worth it for
And
a
then
tenner.
use a marker pen.
So that's dice. A good chunk of sold. So it's worth pointing out if you do want
More dice.
the piss off or the honest wargamer ones, at the rate they're going, we've probably got maybe a week and a bit left of them.
So I would like to also mention that a lot of podcasts and TV shows all do, like, obviously these custom dice. They're a great way to support a show. So if you do want to pick them up, that'd be amazing. Also, unlike other podcasts, we have ours printed on both sides, which most people don't know. So obviously, on any of the dice, if you look, we've got a fancy symbol on the 6s, but on the other side, on where the 1 should be, we actually have printed Jet's butthole on every single. And if you guys have been watching the show for a long time, you'll know. So if you can see there, Nath, does that look similar? Does that look like a butthole? It looks like he's in the room right now. Let me just show it. Like, it really does take over 2 years to constantly have a dog walking across a camera and hundreds of people seeing a dog's arsehole for us to make that joke. So I just want to say that's great and viable. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah. It's not the face of the problem, it's the colour choice. Oh, wow, rude. It's Battletome in the chat also. Very Happy New Year to you.
Well, that
Sorry?
colour, the red ones are nice.
Sorry, they're good. These are a nice colour. I think he
red
said
and purple.
aqua. I think he wanted aqua.
Yeah, Aqua.
What?
Anyway, agreed. Anyway,
Who
thank you
knows?
for being the merch grot. And we've got more merch coming in the future. Water bottles, other things. James is in charge. Who knows?
Rings. I'm going to do it.
What, like
No, we're not the Super Bowl.
Diamante rings?
No. The clear see-through score objective rings.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps asking about because I keep getting messages about it.
But it's quite complicated to organise because I've been in that chat.
Yeah. So basically, if people really want them, we could have them tomorrow, but it's really expensive.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is not rip people off.
Yeah, we want to make it viable for people
Yeah.
to buy. Because you have to buy 8 12-inch diameter circles if you're going to play every battle plan that's available, and a couple of 3-inch ones as well. So it's quite a lot to actually organise. So you've got to get them die cut. There's a bunch of different problems, right?
Yeah, so they've got to be printed, they've got to be organised. We've got to find somewhere that prints them to the standard that we want them to, so they don't wear and tear during a game and they don't rip. And then we've got to find someone that will also cut them, because what we don't want to do is ship them out to people, let them all cut their own, make a mistake, have to buy another 8, etc., etc. So the aim that we're trying to do, or what I'm working on, is trying to deliver 8 to anyone that wants them for the most reasonable price we can get, so that we can build a reputation with a place that prints them, so that once we've started selling off the 8s, We could sell them in 8s, or we could sell them in 1s. So if you lose one, because we all know we lose stuff,
Yep.
Especially at events, especially if loads of people buy them, you could just replace one. Or if you rip one or lose one or break one you can replace rather than keep buying 8s. So I think one of the important things that we talked about, which hopefully everyone in the chat gets, is that we want to sell them in a pack that's usable. We don't want to sell 6.
Yeah, if you're not sure what we're talking about, you can go and watch it on the Bloodshed of the Shire game, especially Laurie's games. If you look for the Sylvaneth game, where you can see them used into great effect. And also, great tagline for 2020. You know, we're trying to make it so that you don't rip your ring.
Yep.
Yeah. Nor we're trying to rip you off with a ring.
Yep.
Or it doesn't matter if you rip your ring.
Yeah, we can replace your ring.
We can sort it out for you.
Nathan, will you soundboard that for me? I would like it that on the website when you purchase it, and go, oh, do you want to replace your ring?
Doesn't matter if you rip your ring.
Thank you, by the way, for everyone doing the hype train thing. I'm not sure what this does. It's a thing. Anyway, cool.
I think
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nath, how have you been? Tell me, because I know you've been doing some stuff, and tell me what you've been up to.
I've been doing some stuff. I don't know.
Oh my god. It's only really when you have someone else on the show that I really understand how much you don't answer.
Yeah.
Go on. What have you been up to?
I've not
Have you played
sold
any
any dice.
Warhammer?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you haven't sold any dice.
Why not? Sell some more!
Because I'm keeping all my dice. I don't know why he's giving away all his dice.
They all roll 6s, and I want to have fair games.
Oh, fair enough.
So you haven't sold any dice.
No.
I would like to say that I have a personal moment now. Me and Nathan are going to share this. Probably the proudest I've been, maybe in the past few years, has been Nathan Prescott messaged me this week, and he said, I listened to your Disciples of Zinch podcast. And I went, mine? Yeah? And I was like, do you mean the Honest War Game ones? He went, yeah. I went, we made the big leagues now. Yeah, we've...
Well, I listened to it, yeah.
Did you listen to it at half speed? A little bit? Not listen to it at all?
About the first 15 minutes. Yeah.
It's good. It's 15 minutes more than I thought.
Yeah, 50 more minutes than I've ever made you listen to.
Yeah, no, I would listen to the rest of it. I'll listen to the rest of it sometime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right,
There you
good. Dick. Have you played any Warhammer this week?
Yeah, I've had a couple of games against Dan's Hello Heart list. Keep getting fucked up by that.
So the UK Master.
Yeah,
You've been playing the UK Master with his Hello Heart list.
Yeah.
How is that going?
Keeps blowing big holes in my army. It's fucking dangerous shit.
Is it very much the Maudsley pattern list? Is it the crossbowmen and the...
Yeah, the crossbowmen, handgunners, and well, it's the
30s.
obvious list. So you can call
A
it.
million spells.
Yeah, it's just lots of shooters and then all the wizards and lots of well, there's only 3 endless spells I think in that list, but they cast all their own.
Well, you know,
spells,
because it's a bit of a misnomer that you actually need like a lot of, because the output is done a lot from the direct damage spells on the War Scrolls. So the Hurricaneum's got Chain Lightning. The Hello Heart spell law's got another spell, Fire Warding Brand, maybe same spell, or that's the one that does the 5 up mortal wounds.
No, yeah, that's the one that does the
reflect damage.
Yeah.
But there's another spell that does exactly the same as Chain Lightning. If you combo that with Comet, you've now got 3 AoE spells just from 3 of the casters. It's pretty scary. Because you're going this weekend to Brotherhood, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about that? What team are you in, and also what army you're playing?
I'm in the team. I'll tell you later.
Wait, that's what your team is called? I'll tell you later. Okay.
I think they chose it especially for when you say it on a podcast. That
was nice.
So I'm going with Darren as the team captain.
Darren Watson.
Mm-hmm. And then Luke Morton is the vice captain.
Luke Morton is the vice captain.
Or the coach, or whatever it's called.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got Dan Bradshaw.
UK Master.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 2 Myhill brothers, Rick and Chris. From the Bruces.
Yeah, the Bruces. Yeah. So the Myhills, and then Nathan Prescott. Pretty dangerous team. And you know, so what's the composition of your team?
Faction-wise?
Yeah.
Darren's playing a Blight Cyst. Loads of Blight Kings. And then Dan's obviously playing the Hello Heart list. I'm playing the Gits, the Gloomspike Gits. And then Rick is playing Slaves to Darkness. and Chris Myhill's playing Nagash in the Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and Luke Morton's playing his little eel spam stuff, his MSU eel spam.
Okay. All right, decent. Thank you, by the way, Ruskles, for cheering the 300 bits for the Nathan soundboard. I'll record that before he leaves tonight. He's getting in near a microphone. As you can see, even when he's actually live, it's a challenge.
Once a week, every week.
Okay. So, team event, pretty exciting. Right?
Yeah.
Didn't you also say that you got something to say about the Darkfire Demon Rift?
Yeah, it's fucking broken as.
That's very rare that comes out of your mouth. Tell me how you feel about it.
Well, I mean, in an army, so because they can, it's cast by Slaves to Darkness, is like the Gaunt Summoner on disc, is Slaves to Darkness one.
Yep.
And he can also appear in a Tzeentch army.
He can.
And then obviously.
And should. 3 times.
Exactly. And then it powers up depending on how many wizards are nearby. So in a Tzeentch army, you've got maybe 6 or 7 wizards, maybe even sometimes more. And then it also powers up on the number of endless spells that are nearby. So in a Tzeentch army, you've normally got 4 or 5. So if you go into a Tzeentch army, because that's normally a quite good way to deal with Tzeentch, is to
get in their face.
Yeah, get in their face and pin them back and fuck them up basically. And then they send this thing through you. You take in 12 mortal wounds plus D3
on each unit.
Yeah.
That it travels across. Yeah,
it's
really
gross.
great.
Yeah.
It's not particularly sensible as a piece of rules design, but as someone who intends to use it, it's fabulous.
It's that thing, isn't it? I think like if you take the hit and go, right, I'll put 6 endless spells in my list. I'll take 3 Gaunt Summoners and 3 backup cheaper wizards and hope that turn 1 I get 5 endless spells off and throw that at you.
And each of the
Have a
Gaunt
nice
Summoners bring on an extra unit of wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they all...
Do they?
Yeah.
I don't know what you're on about. Haven't read that rule. No one read that rule.
So a pretty good endless spell. Yeah, since we've kind of slowed down and tournaments have slowed down coverage and other stuff. We were at the tail end of when we were in Kriegsluntan. We were first couple of weeks in for the Ogre tribes and Ossiarch Bone Reapers book. Since then we had Slave to Darkness. Then we've had Tzeentch and KO, which obviously we're talking about KO today. So lean into CanCon, so not this weekend, next weekend. This weekend there's Brotherhood, it's a team event being organised by Chris from the Black Sun, and then the weekend after there's CanCon. There's also the LVO for Age of Sigmar. There's also an Age of Sigmar event at Warhammer World, so there's probably close to 500 people playing Age of Sigmar that weekend. So not next week, not the weekend coming, but the weekend after. So we've got a lot of data, a lot of people playing, a lot of really interesting stuff that we're going to see, and obviously we're going to start seeing some victories and some things popping out through to the end, which I think is, in my opinion, the most interesting element of what we got. But I'm fascinated in looking at the Brotherhood lists because. I know that I'll be doing the Six Nations coverage, or the Honest Wargaming will be doing the Six Nations coverage in a couple of months, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what sort of army compositions and how polarized those lists are compared to other lists. It's quite an interesting environment, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I think so anyway. Okay, yeah, and also that endless spell sounds great, and I want to use it loads. All the while. Yeah. Apart from you can't buy Gaunt Summoners on disc at the minute.
Oh, shame. I think I brought 3 last week.
Anywhere. You just can't buy them anywhere. Yeah. It's crazy. And also, how many Marauders do you have painted, James?
Only 140.
So, talking about Slaves to Darkness, that's a great segue. The FAQ came out today for Slaves to Darkness. Anyone in the Twitch chat, did you see it and what did you think? So, Slaves to Darkness FAQ came out and there weren't some huge changes, but there were some pretty big power pieces, which might spell a bit of a doom for some of the Tzeentch stuff that we've seen come out. So we've seen the commandability on Archaon's War Scroll changed. James, do you want to tell us about it?
Yeah, it's a sad day. So basically, everyone should hopefully everyone's played it, I think. So Archaon's commandability was that you could spend a command point, which he basically got for free anyway, because of who he is. You rolled a dice under a cup on a 1, 2, or 3. You knew that your opponent would go first in the next priority phase. On a 4, 5, or 6, you would go first. If you decided you didn't like that roll, you could also then roll for priority.
Yeah.
So it basically gave you a 75% chance, I think, to win every priority.
So which is dumb.
Yeah, it's dumb.
Yeah.
So now you still roll it under a cup. You still know if you're going to get double turned or if you're double turning, etc., etc. But you can never change that dice roll. So you roll it, you put it under a cup. I think it even now says in the rule it should be under an opaque cup. And then that kind of happens. So you have an idea of who's going next, but you don't have any way to then change it once you've made the decision to use that ability and roll. And it makes way more sense. It's definitely how it should have been written in the first place.
Some nice clarity.
Yeah, and actually, I think to the point where it says, roll this on the table, put it under a cup, leave it there. Don't roll it and then be like, oh, it was a 4, don't worry about it.
Truthfully, I don't think I want many abilities coming out of Games Workshop that mess about with the priority roll / who can and can't go first, because it's a really dangerous design space to go into where, and we saw from Lords of the Lodge back in the day, I think it was Lords of the Lodge, was it? Yeah, for Fire Slayers, and even now they can have, no, it doesn't affect them now, does it? It doesn't affect the turn roll.
So.
No, because many years ago, if memory serves me right, was it a Slan or the name Slan's name, whose name's going to escape me right now? Croak. Could change any dice roll, couldn't he?
No, so it was Kairos. Kairos could change any dice roll, and it used to be able to affect the priority roll, which was used to great effect at certain points. But then now you can't affect the priority roll at all with any dice, which is great, with the exception of, in this situation, obviously, Archeon. So I hope that they...
Although he doesn't affect the dice roll, he just knows beforehand which way it's going.
That's a good point. Yeah, he doesn't affect it, but he does...
And in fact, he's forced into a decision. If he rolls that dice and he actually wanted to go second, and it told him to go first, he has to go first.
Yeah, so it's arguably not a particularly strong ability. But it is an interesting ability, especially if you make a low enough low enough drop army that's Slaves to Darkness with the ability to choose, so you can give away the first turn. It also, or you take the first turn knowing what's going to happen. You can play appropriately, but I think your opponent can probably play around that.
I think now it's kind of even, because you know if you're going first or second, so you get to kind of play to that a bit. But the tax for it's so high.
Yeah.
Because you have to take it, and he has to be your general, and you have to take the battalion or whatever it is that doesn't allow you to take any artifacts, because that allegiance doesn't have any artifacts. I don't know. I still think loads of people hated it. Personally, I've played it a bit. It's funny. I really enjoy playing it. I quite like the line. It'd be useful if you knew who was going next now, because I already do. I think that's a great line.
To fuck with your
a great line to bring to a game. Yeah. But I don't think, and I'm sure people will disagree, but I don't think that list realistically was probably ever going to go 5-0.
I don't know. I still think it's a cool ability, which I like.
It's an amazing ability, and it was really good fun, and I really enjoyed it, and I'd probably still use it if I was playing that game, because it's super powerful. But I think that allegiance within that book is there's probably better options, I guess.
Agreed.
Is where I'm going.
Agreed. So that was one of the changes that happened. Another change was they identified that warriors, marauders, and warriors, marauders, chaos knights all had to be equipped with one weapon. You can either have lances and sorcerer weapons, or you can have flails or hand axes if you're playing marauders. Previously they hadn't really clarified the wording. Not a particularly big change, but a change. They also, and this is the big one, they affected the Nurgle Demon Prince's command ability, which was arguably mental. And some people were very triggered by this command ability, as I think you potentially should be. So what they've changed it to is, because previously at the start of the combat phase, if you had a marked Nurgle unit, I think a Slaves to Darkness marked Nurgle unit holding within 12 of the Demon Prince, you could spend a command point, and any 6s to hit that unit would cause D3 mortal wounds back to the unit that was attacking it. So they've changed that now, because they didn't stop it from stacking. So you could spend 5 or 6 points, command points, and any 6s to hit would generate 63 mortal wounds back to the attacking unit. So obviously it was pretty crazy. So now, until your next hero phase, each time that unit, the unit that you target,
was it at the start of the combat phase still?
I thought it was at the start of the combat phase.
I thought it was just, but I don't know.
I'll Google it right now. How does that sound?
I think so. While you Google,
Yeah.
the other rule that I think changed was by my will, which they've finally now clarified can only be used on a unit once.
Oh, if William Wheeler's in the chat, thanks for joining Patreon. Big love. Explain that out. Sorry.
So by my will is the Archeon command ability of basically Death Frenzy, wasn't it? So anywhere on the board, he points at someone. He's like, "You die. You fight before you die," because I'm angry that you even had the
audacity to die.
the audacity
How
to
dare
die
you die on my watch.
while I'm stood here.
Yeah.
So, and I debated it. So there's a Tom who might be in chat, Tom Bell, debated it with me quite a bit at a club night because there's no wording. So anytime your opponent uses a command ability, you can roll a dice, and on a 2-up, he gets to use by my will for free in any phase. So I think the wording in it basically said this can affect a unit per phase, but the idea was, so if in your hero phase you use a command point, I use it, same unit. Run phase, I use it. Move phase, I use it. So you could stack it 4 times on the same unit because it was written questionably.
Right. Okay.
And I think realistically you'd go through, for me, I would have said you'd have gone through the thing. So that's had it cast on it 4 times. But actually when it dies, it piles in, it fights.
So what is it now?
So now, just once.
Okay, just the one time per phase or per battle.
So per phase.
Right.
So
okay.
so you cast Death Frenzy on it. It lasts a whole turn, and then you have to do it all again.
Right. Okay. All right. Sweet. Nath, is it the start of the command phase?
Hero phase.
Hero phase.
So yeah, because it's also affects shooting and stuff as well.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So start of Hey Speckles. By the way, hook and pin, Evangelist.
Oh no, it's only melee weapons. Isn't it? So
it's only melee weapons.
Yeah, but you do it in the hero phase. Yeah.
Right, so you do it in the hero phase. Sorry, so this is the Nurgle Demon Prince command ability. Do it in the hero phase. It only affects melee weapons. I knew it only affected melee at least. Until the next hero phase, each time that unit is picked as the target of any attacks made with melee weapons, if the unmodified hit roll for any of those attacks is a 6, the attacking unit suffers D3 mortal wounds after all of its attacks have been resolved. The same unit cannot benefit from this command ability more than once per phase. Now, I think there are 2 interpretations of this rule, which is unfortunate. It says, if any of the attacks made with melee weapons are a 6, it suffers D3 mortal wounds. So does that read, or is that meant to read, or am I being unclear because I knew how it read before, that 1/6 is going to generate 1d3 and that's the end of the conversation, or it's all of the 6s I roll become d3s?
Give it me again.
Until the next hero. Right, okay. If the unmodified hit roll, pick. Each time that unit is picked as the target for any attacks made with melee weapons, if the unmodified hit roll for any of those attacks is a 6, the attacking unit suffers D3 mortal wounds after all of its attacks have been resolved. I think that's just the once.
What? Yeah, once. So if there's a 6 in there, it's doing D3 mortal wounds.
So just 1/6 creates D3 mortal wounds. So before it was multiple 6s could do multiple D3s, which I thought was quite cool, personally, because the units that you do it on, Marauders can do some damage, but I don't think Warriors or Knights can do tons of damage. They can do some, don't get me wrong, but if you compare them to like the big hitters in the game, I don't think that they're like the most terrifying units in the world. But having that fun kind of almost old school Khorne... Wrathmonger interaction, where it's something you don't actually want to charge and you want to deal with it in a different way, was fun. But just doing 1d3, El Capitan WS10, I know I need to reply to you, I will do, is pretty rubbish. So now it looks like the Khorne Demon Prince has taken the throne of the best Demon Prince maybe in that book.
But she's boring. Worst god.
Khorne, the worst god?
Worst god.
Nath, what's the worst god?
I'm going to cause chaos in the chat. Worst god.
Worst god.
Well, worst chaos god.
That cow god that them fake dwarves listen to.
Oh, so this is where we get onto some news. Beard Dragon, thank you very much for subscribing. Not subscribing, donated 300 bits to the show. Rugrax agrees with you.
And the Horn Rat.
Good.
And Nurgle.
No.
And Khorne.
The rat's better. The rat's better than Khorne. Boring.
Automophil says Slanesh. So Nathan, the Hushut is who you're talking about, the god of the Chaos Dwarves. So you'll know yesterday that Mark, a lovely American viewer, bought my Chaos Dwarf army, which is sad. for me. But it does mean that we are, hopefully, if everything comes and it technologically works, be able to have live in-field video recording at CanCon. So not only like you'll have someone beautiful like Gammy, we'll just strap a camera to him, just walk him around, and be able to not only have our in-field reporters, which is pretty
way
cool.
will the camera be facing?
Probably at Gammy's face, as it's beautiful. And we could get Dean to like hold it above his head. That way, he could pretty much be level with Gammy's face. Yeah, you heard me. Yeah, you heard me. That's a short joke. That'll be the same, James. Obviously, if you and Speckles are a team, you could hold it above your head.
I still wouldn't be close. I could maybe angle it at like a 75 degree, hold it above my head, unless it's day 2 and Speckles is hungover and crying in a corner, in which case we'd be fine.
All right, okay.
Or if he's been bunking down with Rob.
Yeah. So the Nurgle Demon Prince has changed. They changed the Dark Earth War Chieftain, but no one cares.
Whoa! No, we don't
Chaos
care.
War Shrine got changed. So this is the protection of the Dark Gods. Roll a dice each time you allocate a wound or a mortal wound to a friendly Mortal Slaves Darkness unit, wholly within range of any models with this ability on the damage table above. Now, I think previously it was only mortal wounds, or maybe it wasn't. Wholly within.
It was everything, and it was wholly within, as far as I'm aware.
Roll
So
a
what's
dice each time you allocate a
so,
wound.
but what's the bubble range?
No, that hasn't changed. It's just they've said change the first sentence of the rule to roll a dice. So I don't know what the change is there. You got some Exalted Charioteers for Chaos Chariots, which is fun. They've changed the Archeon thing. Also, Slayer of Kings has been nerfed a little bit. Each time this model attacks, if the unmodified wound roll for 2 attacks to the target is the same as your hero with Slayer of Kings is a 6, the hero is slain. It was a 5.
No, same.
Oh, unmodified. It's the +1 to hit. Unmodified. I think previously it wasn't unmodified.
Well, that was dumb, wasn't it?
There you go. So, fine.
I'm looking at this shrine because I've been using that. That's good.
It's because thank you, Jonesy, multiple shrines stacked. So you can have multiple 6+s. Oh, Velotron, thanks for the bits donation. 1,000 bits for the Aqua Roblin dice.
Look.
He got a retweet of Duncan Rhodes today. What more does he want?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I know, yeah. Buy some red ones, then I'll buy some aqua ones.
Wait, can we take this? We should get in touch with Duncan and be his dice sellers.
Am I just dice?
We should just be that. We should message him right now. First person to get there right now. There's someone right now who's going, you are a genius. We are making nothing but cash.
Just Duncan dice.
Okay. In the Twitch chat, anyone who wouldn't buy Duncan dice. Nathan, would you buy dice with Duncan's face on?
Sure.
There you go. Nathan's buying them. Do you want these ones with Rob's face on? I'm on the wrong horse. Someone give me Duncan's channel that he definitely has. Waiting to launch.
Yeah, just waiting. Just sat there. Okay, so Slaves to Darkness changes. How do you feel about the changes over?
It doesn't affect the list that I've made. I don't care.
Okay, good. Every Warhammer player ever. Has it affected the thing I care about? No. Not bothered. Nathan, thoughts?
Not bothered. Not playing Slaves to Darkness, am I?
I think
until they change that fucking endless spell, they can do whatever they want to the rest of them.
Okay. Yeah, what, the Darkfire Demon Rift?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's an interesting one though, isn't it? Because you take it against an army with no wizards and it's a waste.
Well, it was super odd having like one of the strongest abilities in the game just locked into a Nurgle Demon Prince and Slaves to Darkness. Like, it was a nice bump up for Nurgle as a faction, which was great. And it was nice to see that you might put Nurgle Demon Princes at all for any reason on the tabletop.
But they're ugly.
Again, I've seen some Demon Princes do some solid work last year. I actually played against some, especially in the Khorne list. You should give them loads of artifacts and just send them on a mission, which is quite cool. But you could just send them on a mission, kind of like
with a briefcase.
That rubbish Rambo,
with
like Jason Statham Rambo. Jason Statham.
I reckon I hate that model, but it might be better looking than Jason Statham.
What, the Demon Prince?
Yeah.
If you watch Crank's a great movie.
It's a great film, but he's not a looker, is he?
Nath, thoughts on Jason Statham's gorgeousness?
I only come to lower the tone of the show. That's the only reason I come.
We took it against an army with no wizards. We had 2 wizards and 2 other spells in rage, says Angle, talking about the spell.
Thing.
Even then, it was just D3 plus 4 mortal wounds on every unit it passed across. Yeah, it's pretty dumb. Also, you got the ability in Slaves to Darkness to make it move again, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I just push a Patreon update? I did. I've got scheduled updates now. Hashtag.
Oh, there you go.
Fucking gangster.
Also, doesn't that mean that? Oh no, we'll get to the book. We'll come back to that book.
back.
We're doing that book in a bit.
Right. That's the news. That's the news at the minute. Pointy elves. I know what Nathan's going to say, but I'm going to say it again. Nathan, pointy elves are coming out. How do you feel? Fuck those guys.
Do you know? I
cares?
have an opinion.
Yeah,
Go for it.
good.
If they change the name from Pointy Elves, no one should buy them. That's it. Like you've made the commitment.
Yeah.
That's their name. You make like the most beautiful models. They look amazing, and then on the box, every box is like Pointy Elves Spearman. sounds terrible. Looks great. Are you going to be that person that's like my battle line's 3 sets of Pointy Elves Spearman?
Illuminated by what the name is going to be for the army, but
Pointy Elves.
pointy elves. Nathan, you got any thoughts on them?
No, pointless elves, maybe.
Good. All right. So, should we get on to the main subject of the show?
Yeah, I
Unless
guess.
anyone's got any other big news. Nathan, you got any other big news? James, got any other big news? Nathan?
No. I don't think so. No.
Main subject to the show then. Not forgetting also, not this weekend, but next weekend, we will be at CanCon doing the coverage, which is very exciting.
You've definitely just read what I read.
Yeah, right. All right, boys, you all look fantastic. Thanks, Lee Bromley. Right, Nate. Okay, so let's get some prefix in. Yeah, let's talk about this. So we're now going to talk about the Kharadron Overlords Battletome review. I'd like to put some information in here. Number one, I last week did a day show where I looked at the sky vessels. Spent an hour, and then I eventually went through all the war scrolls. And if you have watched back on Twitch and you've seen some of it, I wasn't particularly friendly about it. I just thought it was a bit meh and a bit rubbish. I had a 1.5 hour conversation today with Jonathan Etland while I was doing some setting up, where he shouted at me and said that I was wrong and it's the most brilliant book in the world, which I think Nathan agrees with.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, it's a good book.
Give me your TLDR on the book, Nath.
Fuck you.
Thank you.
Stupid
I'm not
words.
swearing at you. I'm not swearing. That was such a guttural reaction. You were like, you've anachronized at me. Yeah, fuck you. No.
Just use words.
I'm
not letters.
gonna wheel back while you two fight. I'll come back.
What the fuck's wrong with words?
Maybe we'll just roll. Do you want to roll dice instead?
Oh, you're going to just speak pictures at me. Then that's fine.
Sorry. Please give me your abbreviated or your too long didn't read opinion on the
That's
book.
not even a sensible combination of words. Too long didn't read. What's that supposed to be?
James, please tell me you've read a TLDR. Like, you know what that means.
Yes.
Yeah, I know what that means.
Oh, right, okay, he does. All right, good. Oh, you did a comedy effect.
But I think it would have been nicer if you'd have used the whole word to him.
I'm
still
sorry.
bullshit.
Yeah, that's true.
I might know what it means. It means bullshit.
People watching might not have known, and then they'd have just been confused, and then they'd have left the chat to Google it.
Yeah.
gotta
All right, so
stay on target.
Speckles is giving you a different version. Nathan, just do it via a thumb. Obviously, the middle being 50%, thumb up, thumb down being your... Just use... This is now...
100%? 100% good.
Scrivo, if there's any way for you to make me a thermometer for Nathan, so I could just... I'm going to put that on the front of every Battletome review from Nathan Prescott. Like, we quickly asked Nathan, and he gave us this thermometer.
Is it going to be really complex? Is it just 100%, no percent, 50%,
Yeah.
or is there going to be like a
Why
75?
would they ever do one like this?
What, at the 50%? What, all books, thumb up?
Doesn't it depend who wrote it?
Or down?
Stupid elves.
101.
Stupid elves. Based on the cover.
Yeah.
Stupid elves, thumb down.
I like the idea based on the cover. That's all you should do them on. From now on, Nathan reviews the
that's all
cover,
you do.
nothing else. Like the cover, and maybe the bit on the back. What does I don't even know what the back of the book says anymore. You know, like on a normal book, you get like a synopsis of what's
Just
in
a
there.
picture of Nathan with a...
Yeah, that's it. Games Workshop, if you're listening, we've
Yeah,
got an idea for you.
Yeah, loads. All right, so you give it a thumb up.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So that's not what some people have said. And I think Felonious Skunk, thanks for subscribing, by the way.
Some people are wrong.
We have a review in from the internet, James.
Oh,
An anonymous.
Oh no! I no way am I finding that fast
Come on,
enough for
find
the
it.
show.
That'll be really fun. I've seen some people. So my very good friend Tom Lyons from Warhammer Weekly isn't overly impressed with the book. He thinks it's pointedly not particularly great, as does Mr. Vince Van Trella. That doesn't mean that it isn't particularly great. And also, there's a lot of people talk about that issue between in a dual release where we talked a lot about Flesh Eater Courts, obviously when that book came out, but Skaven also were a big powerhouse army as well. Cities of Sigmar got a lot of chat, and they also came out at the same time as Ironjaws. Sorry, not Ironjaws, Warclans. So sometimes when you get a dual book release, one of them gets a bit more hype. Like Jonathan today was telling me, or he thinks, that the reason there aren't a lot of people winning with Sylvaneth or playing with Sylvaneth is because when we did the review show, we weren't particularly nice about it, and so we discouraged people from trying to unlock the book. I disagree with that sentiment because I think the book is just genuinely quite poor to ever make a competitive list from. A bit like Gits, where if you want to build a competitive list, like I think every little point really, really does matter. Like what you spend, like are you taking snufflers? Are you not taking snufflers? And the real question is are you playing just trogs? Because that's the true way to play. Yeah.
Oh, don't be nice to him. Don't be nice to him.
But the point is the same. Some books there are some power builds in there, for instance Gits, but it requires some unlocking that's a little bit more complex, whereas Halahar or Petrifex Elite are like straight out the gate and talking to you. Would you say that you don't think this book is bad, Nath, but you think this book is more one that requires some deeper thought?
Yeah, I think sort of like when we first looked at the at the Warclans book, you could tell it was a good book, but you couldn't put your thumb on immediate lists. And then as time's gone on, we've seen lists change. There's still a wide variety of lists coming out of that book, which are pretty sweet.
What, out the Ironjaws book?
Yeah.
Sorry,
out the
Warclans book.
Warclans one,
Yeah, 100%. But there were some standout units, right? Par Exemplar. We're looking at the Tzeentch book or Safe Darkness book. You can't stop talking about the Gaunt Summoner on disc. You look at the Warclans book, you can't stop talking about Ardboys, for example. Yeah. So what is it in the Kharadron Overlords book that we can't stop talking about or won't stop talking about in the future? Nathan, this is your time, because do we have the review in?
Yeah, I'm going to. It's too long and boring. But there is. So I was sent this. So I did some research earlier because that's lame. But someone said it is the most clunky, frustrating, and categorically worst written tome since Age of Sigmar started.
Wow.
And then the one thing I would like to say is that later on it does say that there is one good build in there, nothing else. And my favourite reply, someone did reply with, how many builds could you want out of 7 War Scrolls?
Great point.
And I read that earlier, I was like, that's a really nice response, because there's still no models.
It's true, and you look at Idneth and all the eels. Like, I think everyone would like to run turtles and sharks. Some people are running sharks. They're like, fuck me. I think Ben Spinetti's like, screw you, Rob. I'll run as many sharks as I fucking want. But they don't tend to do particularly well at a top tier tournament. Sometimes that's not the point. Earlier on, James, you were saying to our good friend, you were like, someone was asking, how many ghosts shall I get my wife? And then you were like, and our friend was like, don't get any. And then you responded with, "You wouldn't know what it's like in the mid-tables. The ghosts are fine."
I think there's a, like, for me. So I had a really long debate the other day with a different community, but about games. About, like, the best part about Warhammer is going to an event, bumping into loads of people, having a nice chat, standing opposite someone on a table, and playing an army you've enjoyed to paint that you really like to play.
With great story.
Yeah, with great people.
Becomes great responsibility. And
I think, like, and don't get me wrong, I know other people go to an event and they want to win, and that's cool. Like, that's probably not how I play. I like a beer, I like a natter, and sometimes I laugh when I roll a 1. And that,
or
that's
do you mean a jet's butthole?
A jet's butthole, sorry.
As we now call all
as we now
ones.
Know.
All ones are jet's butthole. Yeah.
So I think there's that kind of part to it, isn't there? Yeah.
Right, Nath, this is you. It's your time
Here we
to shine.
go. Sure.
Change our life and mind.
Well, I mean, so the thing with the 7 War Scrolls thing is if you look at a lot of competitive lists, they only have 3 or 4 War Scrolls in them anyway, because everybody spams the fuck out of something.
How dare you?
How many Gaunt Summoners do you think Rob will have by the end of the week?
Yeah, he's just going to have fucking Gaunt Summoners and Flamers and fucking pink things.
How dare you? How dare you? I'll also have some Brimstone Horrors. Part UK says the mid-tables are the best tables. I think I'd have to agree.
That's because me and Pa are there. Talking about goats, although he's betrayed that. And so have I, so it doesn't matter.
All right, so should we start at the beginning with this book?
Yeah.
So obviously there's the overall allegiance ability.
Yeah.
Nath, take it away.
Yeah, so they've still got their their articles thing. But first of all, they get this cool thing called Aether Gold.
Okay, talk to me about Eighth Gold. Also, if you don't know anything about Kharadron Overlords, it's your first experience of a Battletome review, and you've listened for 44 minutes waiting for it to fucking start, that's cool.
But we've had a nice time.
I know, you've had a nice time. The Kharadron Overlords are mercantile space... No, not space. Sorry, sky pirates.
Yep.
Who are... they'll basically... Some of them will take a contract from almost anyone.
Yep.
They're half bounty hunters. They're half Lee Scoresby. They're half... I think Robert De Niro in the film Stardust, if you've ever seen it, which is great. So that's
Any more halves? How many halves make a whole? So far, you've made
Nathan,
3
like
halves.
you and me. 7. So they get Aether Gold. Yeah, what's that?
Yeah. So the Aether Gold. So each unit that has 10 or more models, or is a hero or a sky vessel, gets a share of Aether Gold, and they can spend the Aether Gold once in the game. It decreases their bravery by 1 because they've spent the bucks, but it
Shouldn't
lets
spend your
them
money.
pick a triumph and use it immediately, which is obviously we've all known how triggered some people get when suddenly somebody brings out a triumph and starts using it. So that's a really sweet little ability and I think it's a lot better than people. But you can only
What
use
triggers me about the
once.
triumphs, because I know that you're talking about, so I'm going to...
No, it's not just you.
It's definitely me, though.
Yeah, you're one of the triggered people.
Yeah, because triumphs, they're so incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And there's been always my issue, because people play for a triumph, or they're like, oh, I'm 1950, so I want my triumph. And rerolls to hit is...
Don't you get a triumph if you're 10 points less?
No, if you're less points than your opponent, you get a triumph.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've been advocating for them being removed from the game forever.
I don't think I've ever used one.
No, because that's right, because you're playing right. Nate's always been using triumph. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to reroll 10.
I never remember them.
Fuck! But they're strong, right, the triumphs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the ability to use them a fair bit in your army is just great.
Yeah, sorry, I'm going to question. So every unit above 10 and every boat gets 1
Gets 1 triumph
per game.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's once per game, and you can only use 1 per phase. So you can't say, "Oh, these guys are going to spend a triumph, and these guys are going to spend a triumph in the same phase." So, yeah. So there are some restrictions, but
So you can't have a horrific reroll and everything shooting phase.
yeah. So, you can, but that's different.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's really good. The obvious choices though on that are the reroll saves.
Yep.
In one of your opponent's phases. And it doesn't say when you pick it, so you can just pick it after they've rolled a load of attacks and say, "Ooh, I'm going to spend some gold now." So
Been in my bag. Got some gold. Maybe you should have to carry gold coins. Maybe those.
Also,
we'll print some of those.
When we get to the end of this, and if the Kharadron Overlords doesn't seem to be an incredibly good book, Nathan, I know you disagree. You can still be like, how was your game? Triumphant every time. That joke is there forever. You can just keep making that joke for as long as you like. Yeah, and that's worth it.
And the boats are pretty.
It's a triumph of comedy.
Yeah, all right then.
He doesn't agree. He's gonna paint some boats and beat you with them.
Okay.
Cool. And then so you've still got the code. So if you go in one of the skyports, the code is set for you. But if you decide to create your own skyport, Barrack
Rob's
Obama
house.
or whatever it is that you want.
Barack Obama. Did you just say Barack Obama? Done. Yeah? I am selling every army I own. I am getting 120 dudes. I'm changing their heads. I'm painting them black, and I'm having Barack Obama. And screw you. That's a great idea.
But you'd ruin the law because they have to wear the hats, right?
No, they don't have to wear their hats.
They have to wear the hats, or they suffocate or something.
No, I mean, you could make your own law.
Okay.
Yeah.
Barack Obama's.
Barack Obama, those
they're
guys
fine.
don't need helmets. Okay, brilliant. It's the best. Please continue.
Fine. Cool. So if you're gonna make your own, you can choose your own code. So they've simplified the code a bit. I think it used to be 12 of each. There's only 3 of each now. So you've got you choose an article, an amendment, and a footnote.
Mm-hmm.
And so articles, you've got honor as everything, where you can reroll hit rolls of 1. For Kharadron Overlord heroes that target heroes or monsters, so it's not particularly great because your heroes, most of them are not particularly high damage output. I mean, probably the best one is the new character, the dude in the engine master in the dirigible suit, because he's like a little gun platform and he's alright in a fight. So, but yeah, unlikely you'll get that one, but it's there if you want it. Then you got Master of the Skies. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by your sky vessels only that attack units that can fly. It's alright, but it's not anything great. Then you got Settle the Grudges.
That's an overall allegiance ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you've got Settle the Grudges, where before the battle round begins, you pick an enemy. The first battle round, you pick an enemy unit, and then for the rest of the battle, you reroll hits of 1 for all of your army that targets that unit. So you have a grudge. So that's pretty good. I mean,
and very dwarfy.
Yeah. I mean,
it's basically an old
for a
school
free
dwarf.
set of rules, they're not a bad little combination. Considering you're going to get it's built upon by other stuff as well. So
By the sub-faction rules, right?
well, no, these are the ones if you create your own sub-faction.
This is
okay.
Barack Obama.
So you can choose
Barack
one of
Obama.
those. Yeah. You
Okay.
can decide whether your dude's going to be grudgy, Masters of the Skies, or they're going to pick on heroes. So if you got good heroes, then you might go with that one.
I'd probably go for pick on units in the sky because Barack Obama was super into drone strikes. So I'm just going to stay on narrative. I'm just going to stay on message.
Cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I'd
not
say
the best one.
Settle the Grudges might be the strongest one
Yeah.
there, but you can take. I mean, you could build a list around the honor as everything thing. Just load a boat up with admirals and send it off. It'd be like loads of attacks coming out the boat. But yeah. Anyway, just thought of something. So you got the amendment table.
Tell people. That's the point
No.
of the show.
So you got the amendment table. So this is your next layer of
Free rules.
free rules. So you can always take what you're owed, which is pick up to D3 Kharadron Overlord units in your army. Each of those start the battle with a share of ether gold in addition to what they normally receive. So this is particularly good if you've got units mainly like the engine riggers or the sky wardens, because they normally aren't in 10s when they start.
Okay,
So now you can give them ether gold.
so they get some
Yeah.
triumphs.
Or if you've got a big unit that you really want to buff up, then you can give them an extra, so they can do
They take
2
some
triumphs.
extra cash.
Yeah. So it's pretty sweet. And you got prosecute wars with all haste. In your first turn, your units can run and still shoot later in the turn.
So that one's great.
That one's great as well. All of these amendments are pretty sweet,
All the boats shooting and running.
and all of your dudes inside of them.
Just Arcanauts all the time.
Do you
And
really
then
want
trust
to
your
paint
guns. Add 1 to the bravery characteristic of friendly Kharadron units while they are more than 3 away from the enemy units. So +1 bravery across the army. Again, but the first 2 there are great. Really, the other one's alright if you want to be braver, but there's
Who wants to be braver?
better things to do with your guns than trust
They
them.
just want
Shoot.
money.
Yeah.
Shoot them.
More money.
Yeah,
More
run,
money.
Run fast and shoot, or
Less bravery.
or get gold. Then you've got your footnotes. So there's 3 of those again. No reward without risk. Once per battle, you can reroll a charge roll for a friendly Kharadron over your unit. Considering you've probably got loads of Aether gold, you can spend your gold to do that, or command abilities, etc. But there's no trading with some people. Once per battle, friendly Kharadron Overlord units that has run or retreated in the same turn can still shoot and or charge. So that's a good one.
Yep. That's very good.
That's pretty flexible. It gives you a great deal of flexibility. But then, bearing in mind, your boats can disengage and still shoot anyway. So,
Good
you
for the
do
units
have
that
that.
jump out,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
but it's for the garrison and dudes like that. And then without our ships, we are naught. Once per battle, you can heal up to D3 mortal wounds. D3 wounds, allocated to a friendly sky vessel. But again, you've got loads of healing there, so
D3's not a lot once per battle either.
This is a lot though. You have to remember, like if we're talking about life tanking in Age of Sigmar, as in the ability to heal.
I mean, there's a whole boat, and somewhere there's a guy sat on a dragon, all decayed. He's got a little cup, D6.
Yeah, but that's once per battle.
Yeah, that's once,
Yeah, this
once
is-
per
No,
battle.
what I mean is that D6 is fairly unique. Like, it's actually, even Alarielle, like, even at her max, could do like a D6 and a couple of D3s. Like, and she's like the goddess of life. D3's fairly
It's a
decent.
giant boat.
Yeah, no, I agree. You shouldn't be able to heal it at all. It makes no sense.
Yeah,
You just
well,
put some metal over and
Yeah.
smack it with a hammer.
Well, they've got loads of healing for their boat, so
Okay.
Yeah,
you,
that's my point.
you probably don't need that. You
I
probably
got loads to learn.
Yeah. Probably the best one there is the retreat
Oh,
and then shoot
Yeah.
or charge and
All this healing from 7 War Scrolls.
There we go. So you got a load of command traits and stuff. Shall we go through? There's lots of that.
No, we don't have to go
Yeah.
through those at all.
No,
In fact-
I think let's go through the ports.
Yeah.
And
The only thing to really stands out to me is that artifact, the spell in the bottle.
To be honest, there's quite a few good artifacts and traits there.
Are there any that stand out to you in particular?
I mean, the spell in the bottle's quite fun. There is you can take engine works on the gun haulers, so you can take one where you can give them a garrison of 5. So then you've got quite a small little ship. So you could make like a real janky little thing. You could just stick like 5 admirals in there, and then that would be a combat beast.
So just get 5 individual admirals in there, and just because how many points are an admiral? I'll go find out.
100.
Yeah, like probably 140 or 120 points. 140, I'll say.
Okay.
So I mean, it would be a lot of points, but whatever it hit, that would smash up. But yeah, there we go.
So, spell in a bottle is the one where you can steal someone's endless spell.
Well, yeah, you start the game with an endless spell in a bottle,
Okay.
and so when you break the bottle, the spell is cast.
And
And-
auto casts.
Yeah, cannot be unbound.
So interestingly, because we've talked about it and Rob's finding points, that's quite cool for the spell that you hated earlier. You could take the anti-wizard spell
Yeah,
in an army that has no wizards in the hope that your opponent has some wizards. Because even if they throw it back at you, it's doing a lot less wounds.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, ideally, it's probably better to have something that just traps your opponents, because you've got a lot of ranged output anyway. So you're probably not after something like that. So you something else that causes disruption. So maybe Palisade or something like that, but probably something more like shackles.
Yeah, because you want something that doesn't block line of
Yeah.
sight as well, I guess.
The only the only thing is if you can also take spells from factions. So like that, then you're probably looking at the Skaven one, the warp lighting
Yeah.
vortex,
Yeah. Drop a warp lightning vortex on your opponent.
because it's really hard to get rid of, and it really just traps them, snares them,
Yeah,
slows
they can't
them
even
down,
unbind it.
and
so.
then you can start shooting.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty crazy. Comet or vortex is crazy good for disrupting your opponent, says Forius. Also means that like knowing your opponent's going to drop a vortex on you means that you spread your army out,
Yep.
which again is quite nice. For
Which
KO.
feeds nicely for the
Feeds nicely into them because they can shoot parts off in one. Oh, Nathan, Scuttle Tide, cheeky Scuttle Tide.
Yeah.
Yeah, you love that. Taurus and hitting crew on a gun hauler, charge and smash. And also, someone has just suggested, and I think this is great.
That's great.
Grobugda, and I see you again from earlier, says you would make a Millennium Falcon and crew out of a gun hauler. So it's full of admirals, but you just buy like a Star Wars crew and just
Just
fill
buy
it-
one from X-Wing, it's already painted,
Yeah,
right?
just be like,
Stick on the
there you go,
table.
Millennium Falcon
And a
my
little
lads.
Lego Han Solo.
Yeah,
You
that's-
could buy that huge Lego one. Just put it on a base.
The Stormtroopers could be the Arcanaut
There
company.
you go.
Yeah,
Sorted.
not hitting anything, just there. Firing in space.
We haven't seen their rules yet, so they
Yeah.
might not hit anything.
Sorry.
So other things that are quite interesting, though, you've got the phosphorite bomblets. So remember Curse of Years?
Yeah.
So you can do that with a bomb.
Oh, really? Once per battle?
So once per battle in your shooting phase, you pick a unit within 6, roll the dice on a 2-up, it takes a mortal wound, and you keep going until you roll the 1.
Ah, nice.
So it is Curse of Years.
I like that. That's really
I
fun.
mean, that could just be called Curse of Years in a bottle.
Have you ever either had that done to you or done that where you roll a 4+, so the more, for instance, or any of those spells where you roll a 4+, it keeps doing D3 mortal wounds? Have you ever had that done to you?
Yes.
Nate?
Yeah.
It's the worst. After the first one, you're like, great work, mate. Then like, by the third one, you're like, no.
You can stop it now.
Yeah, you can stop it now. And then by the time they get to like 5, you're like, this fucking sucks.
But I have to so that the old Curse of Years was so much more fun than the new one. Like I know it stops on a 1 and it stops people getting upset, but actually like there was part of me that every time someone got there and it's like, oh, you did that. Like,
yeah, it was great fun.
Yeah.
More interaction. Surfer Dibs, thanks for subscribing for 20 months in a row. Irish Kapow says Chemist command trait, double damage on a hero for the match. So he says that's a thing as well.
Yeah. Then there's other ones that buff your shooting. So like there's Flare Pistol that lets you reroll hits against things that it's targeted. So if it shoots at something and scores a hit, it doesn't have to do the wound, but as long as it's done a hit, then any of your other units that target it get to reroll their hits.
Nice.
So that's
really good.
Pretty good because that goes on a navigator. I think he's only got 2 shots though, but you know.
I like the imagery that the artifacts especially give are quite big because obviously they're quite mechanical in nature. They're not just some random like G died Adam. You're like, all right, whatever. But this is like flare pistol. You're like, sweet, light it all up, fire away. Sorry, Nath, carry on.
Cool. So yeah, and then so there are ways that you can buff shooting and stuff like that around you, or buffing your boats as well. So there's some cool ones there. But if we look at the barracks, because a lot of the abilities in the barracks will be, I mean, there is a good chance that you could make your own barrack up, and it's not a bad option really. But I think a lot of these barracks are quite good as well, and you're likely to go through those.
So these are the sub-factions, right?
Yeah. So Barrack Nar, the city of the first sunrise. So its ability is Scholars and Commanders. So at the start of the first battle round, for each friendly hero on the battlefield, you roll the dice. On a 4-up, you get an extra command point. So it's great.
Okay.
Yeah, command points are great.
Yeah.
Yep.
Are there good command abilities to use with those command points?
Well, the Admiral's got like 4 on his war scroll.
Okay.
So, yeah, command abilities are free rules. So yeah.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, even if you just use the generic ones out of the book.
Yeah, reroll once they hit.
Yeah, once you've spent your gold, you've lost some bravery.
Yeah.
Even keeping battle sharp.
I quite like how they've got, like, I like the addition of the gold mechanic. Like, as in they're like, you know, you've got some more things to spend. You know, I spent some command points, I spent some gold. I'm just like throwing bits around all over the place. Okay.
Then you've got Kharadron code. So you've got your article is respect your commanders. You can reroll battle shocks tests whilst you're within 12 of a hero. Your amendment is trust athematics, not superstition. So all of your heroes can unbind spells in the enemy hero phase and dispel in your can they dispel? Can attempt to unbind. No, only unbind. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
If they can already unbind, then they get to do an extra unbind.
Cool.
So your navigators can do twice. Then your footnote, to just double down on that, through knowledge is power, add 1 to all your unbinding.
Okay. So they're like super anti-magic.
Yeah. Then your command trait, champion of progress. Do not take battle shock tests whilst you're wholly within 12 of the general. So you're re-rolling wholly within 12 of all your other heroes, but if you're closer to the general, you're not taking battle shock tests at all.
That's quite good, because I'd like to take loads of Arcanauts, so I'm into that.
It's quite good. I mean, I've played against the Hello Heart list, Dan's Hello Heart list. He takes the wholly within 12 immune to battle shock thing, and it's when you've got that bubble of shooting that just turns up on your doorstep and starts shooting, and you start chipping away, and you think, well, you know, it's fairly fragile stuff. I can spread out all my damage, and you know, he can only spend a command point here or there, and then suddenly he's just not taking any battle shock tests. So it's really frustrating when you've got to go through every single one.
And you're like, I wish you told me that earlier, and he's like, I'll tell you later.
No, I knew it all the time. But
I think like the battle shock thing
going on your team name.
Huge though, right? Because I pissed about with the Arcane list, and the immune to battle shock board wide won me a game because one Marauder stayed in combat either side of the board.
Yeah, immunity to battle shock without
Huge.
having a resource, as in the CP, is a big deal,
Yeah.
and we've seen that several times in loads of different armies, and it is. And also, the Arcanauts have got a 4-up save now,
Yeah.
so they're going to stick around a lot more, and being immune to battle shock is big, but it's wholly within 12.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of that hero.
Yeah, so it's fine. It's what it is, right?
Cool. And then artifact power, 8th charge rune. Once per battle, you can change either a hit roll made by the attack or a save roll for an attack that targets the bearer to a roll of your choice.
So a guaranteed save, I guess.
Yeah. But there you go.
But the other stuff was good. So.
Yeah. So I think with the amount of magic that there is in the game, that's not a bad barrack if you want to play safer.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't buff your output that much, but so you'd have to look elsewhere for your buffs on that. But you do get a lot of command points, and you get all the unbinding power.
Yeah, it keeps you alive, I guess, to keep shooting, right?
Yeah. Cool. Then you got Barracks Zulfin, the windswept city. Magnificent sky vessels. You can choose one extra sky vessel in your army to have a great engine work, so you get a free engine work.
Okay.
So that could be.
And what would you be looking to put the engine work on? Do you like the gunhauler ones, or is it all about the ironclad?
So yeah, I was talking to Jonathan about it earlier. Do you take an ironclad or do you take 2 frigates? That is the great question.
Mine is none and more Arcanauts.
I would take 2 frigates.
Okay.
And probably give one the magnificent omniscope, and the other one the sky mines maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean the frigate ones aren't that great. The ironclad one's quite fun. The last word is great.
What does that do?
So that means you can fire your main gun when anybody charges you.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
At the end of the enemy charge phase, you pick an enemy unit that has finished the charge within 3 of the model, and you can shoot that unit with your great sky cannon, your great skyhook, or your great volley gun.
Okay. Doesn't the Barrack also make Thunderer's battle line?
Barrack. Yeah, some of them affect that, so that'll be on the points. It doesn't say it in the under the barrack thing. Have you got the points up there?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the Barracks Ilfin make frigates battle line as well, I think.
Yeah. So wait, is this is this Barrack?
We're Barracks Ilfin now, so I think that makes frigates.
That makes frigates battle line.
Yeah.
And also someone in the chat is saying, specifically Evangelis is saying 11 gun haulers and a Lord Ordinator play Ride of the Valkyries, just have a great time.
Yeah.
Great day. I
Yeah.
mean, are they going to bring a 90s boombox?
So Lord Ordinator's
Shoulder.
command ability is +1 to hit to war machines holding within 6.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that correct?
I mean, I'm not sure he'd keep up with the 4-inch Stormcast move.
that's a good line, right? That's just what it just stands there.
Just running
Yeah, just running.
with his
all
2
day long.
hammers.
So sorry, Barracks Ziflin. What do I get for Barracks Ziflin?
So you get the extra engine work, then you get your article is Master of the Skies. You can reroll hit rolls 1 for attacks made by sky vessels that target units that can fly. So yeah, this is the sky vessel one basically. Don't argue with the wind. Any run roll, so not just sky vessels, any unit it's turned to a 6 automatically. You don't have to roll.
Okay.
Pretty sweet. And then, because I mean everybody uses that command thing in a series of games. I think I've used that. That might be the one that I use the most out of command abilities.
So
Yeah. So
I don't
even
often,
more than Battleshock Community, I probably use that changing runs to 6.
Potentially, I definitely use it a lot more than I use reroll charges. Like I rarely use a CP for reroll charges.
I think, it depends what army you're using, doesn't it? But
Yeah.
the changing a run to a 6 is
Yeah.
hugely good in
But then
situations.
it seems like an odd ability to want to in an army that you want to shoot. So you have to stack that with can run and shoot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so it's fine unless the army's running and shoot.
Yeah,
in
but
which
I
case
mean,
it's
you
not.
use that on other armies where you want to fight, and you can't fight if you've run. So
Well, no, but normally inside that army you have the ability to run and charge, right? Like,
But there's a debate, isn't there? So I guess if you're moving it to a 6, you get your boats out,
yeah, I
move
mean,
them out of danger, shoot next turn.
it's it's less. I mean, it is weird that it's on this one because it's less useful in the Kharadron army with the boats because they can all disengage and fly high, so they can just teleport wherever they want to go.
Okay.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it is probably less useful in this. I mean, that would be a better one to have on where you've got units of Arkanauts really than boats. But there you go. Footnote: once there's a breeze if you look for it all the time, every time.
That's the footnote.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Once per battle in your hero phase, one friendly Barracks Zilfin unit can make a normal move. It can run, retreat, or disengage.
Okay.
So hero phase move is sweet.
It is, especially when you're not seeing it coming, or just after the priority roll, you weren't expecting something to go one way. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it just means first turn you can double move. So basically, you can get right up in their face and offload some guns into there, or charge. Charging with a boat is not a bad thing these days.
Okay.
So, command trait, if the Barrack Zilfin General that is an Arcanaut Emerald must have this. So if you want to use one of the generic ones, you can just change your general to another type of dude. But he's the Master Commander. If the general is part of the army, so every time you spend a command point, you get a 5-up, you get that command point back. So he gets an 8th Corp brooch.
For free.
Yeah.
What is his artifact?
Yeah.
No, it's as his command trait, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then what's his artifact?
So his artifact is the Staff of Ocular Optimization.
Perfect.
Important.
Exactly like mine.
Pick one of the bearer's missile weapons, +1 to hit rolls for attacks made by that. So you probably want to be sticking that on your Engine Master with the dirigible suit, because he's got all the guns.
He has got quite a few guns, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Then we'll jump on to Barracks, the City of the Sun. Here your abilities are deeds, not words. So you get +1 to wound for attacks made with melee weapons by friendly Skyfarers that have made a charge move in the same in that same turn, and +1 to hit for if they're Skywardens. So you get +1 to wound and +1 to hit if they're Skywardens.
Okay.
If not, they just get +1 to wound. So this is your combat variation.
Which is the balloon chaps, right?
Yeah, so you probably take loads of Skywardens and charge them in if you can. If you'd want to. Who knows?
You're excited about this book.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
is anyone excited about these balloon people?
Yeah,
like
the
balloon guys are great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They are great.
Okay.
Well, wait. So you guys have to wait for it. At number 13, we'll surprise you. Balloon 0.7. Yeah.
Your article here is honor is everything. Reroll hit rolls of 1 for attacks made by heroes that target heroes or monsters.
Okay.
Amendment is leave no dwarden behind. +2 bravery whilst you're wholly within 12 of a vessel, which is pretty good. Having used the +2 bravery thing on my own jaws for quite a long time, that's a lot better than it sounds. Yes. Yeah.
Especially with the amount of chip damage that's out there.
Yeah.
Like a Gemini fires across you, take D3 mortal wounds. Something else. So it's nice just having them beyond 3 or 4 damage, and that making them take a battle shot test. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Footnote is show them your steel once per battle in your hero phase. One Skyfarer's unit that is part of a garrison can leave the garrison wholly within 3 of the sky vessel and more than 9, but it doesn't stop you moving again afterwards. So this is the flexibility in this one. That's pretty sweet. That is. So a lot of the things that are going to get off of the sky vessel, would you want them to be charging, etc.?
Nope.
Probably not, but some of the heroes maybe. So if you do build up a fighty emerald or something like that, it's not bad. Or else it does give you the flexibility to control objectives and move around like that.
Right, fair enough.
Split your force up
All day.
all the time. Bearer of the Iron Star. First time your general is slain before removing them on a 2-up, they're not slain, and they heal D3 wounds and ignore all the extra wounds. So they get extra D3 wounds basically at, well, more than that. It's more effective than that. So that's pretty sweet. Command trait, you can't complain about that one.
No.
And then your 8th speed hammer, +2 attacks to your weapon. So this is that fighty admiral that we're talking about. Get out of the boat, going to show somebody his steel, and the steel is in the form of a large hammer. So
good. Okay.
And then when he dies,
And which barrack is this, sorry?
he comes back to life. Barracks on. So this is your combat.
The combat barrack.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a bomber.
No.
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 Barrack Urbaz. This is Jonathan's favourite one. It's
Okay.
the market city.
The market city.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's all about the markets. He is.
Okay.
You only win if you can out-trade your opponent before the game.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no playing.
or you only win if you start the tournament in that kind of thing, where you got like a paperclip and then you trade it to someone else for like a counter, and then you trade that counter for like a card.
That's it. Maybe that's how you win the event.
And then at the end you're like, I've now got someone's card.
Wife.
I would like to trade it. Yeah, I'd like to trade it for the victory medal or trophy. And everyone will be like, wow, yeah, you are truly Barrack. Which one?
Urbaz.
Urbaz. Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. So the market city. This is your ability. Do not -1 bravery when you spend your gold, because you got so much gold it doesn't phase you.
Yeah, they're not bothered.
Phenomenally boring.
They've got
phenomenally boring.
They've got all the money.
As an ability. No, phenomenally boring. Like, to be honest, all of them have sounded phenomenally boring.
I think they've all been pretty good for free rules. They're a lot better than a lot of people get for free rules. And
yes,
yeah.
In some cases, and in other cases, absolutely not.
So, I mean, like we were saying earlier, you don't want your bravery to be messed around too much. So that's pretty sweet, especially as you get your footnote is no, it's not that one. It's your amendment. You get D3 Urbaz units each start with a share of extra ether gold, basically.
So you have more ether gold.
You're getting all the triumphs.
Wow, you are getting triumphs for days. You are. Also, if no one doesn't collect little gold tokens or coins or chocolate coins, and every time you spend one and you give them to your opponent, you're a dick. Like, those are my thoughts.
Chocolate coins.
Chocolate coins. You'd be like, so I'd like to spend some ether gold. Chocolate coin for
Here's
you.
a chocolate coin.
Yeah.
I mean, only good at Halloween.
Hashtag sports votes.
Nowhere else. Nowhere else sells them at any other time of the year.
What, chocolate coins?
Yeah.
Yeah, chocolate coins all the time.
Okay.
Amazon, nothing's out of stock now, apart from humanity.
What about going to someone on discs?
They're out of stock.
Yeah.
Please.
Not even on
There's some in
Amazon.
my house.
Anyway, your article there is you can re-roll your battle shock test whilst you're within your opponent's territory. So that's so. Your amendment is the extra ether gold, and then your footnote is once per battle at the end of the combat phase, one Skyfarer's unit that has fought gain an extra unit of ether gold. So you get loads of triumphs, basically.
Nice.
These guys, extra gold.
I'd have to actually read what they do.
Extra. Well, you get the reroll to hit, the
Yep.
rerolls to wound, the reroll saves, reroll battle charges.
Yep.
Reroll battle shock. No, you get immune to battle shock, I think. Is that the triumph? I think.
Yeah.
And then the other one is if you're a hero, you get a free command point.
Okay. I mean,
So they're all
hits and wounds is super strong.
they're all great.
Yeah. Rerolling hits wounds. Rerolling saves.
Rerolling
Super strong.
saves really good, especially on cheap, big blocks of cheap Arcanauts.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, and then command trait. If the general is an Aether Chemist, so again, if you don't want this, if you want a different one, you can trade it out. But you're a Chemist Supreme. Replace the Aethematic Augmentation ability with this. In your hero phase, you can pick 2 units, wholly within 12, and they get to reroll wound rolls of 1 made by the unit. So instead of 1, you can pick 2 units to be augmented by your chemists.
Right. To reroll hit rolls of 1.
Wound rolls of 1. So the thing,
Still my beating heart.
well, the thing with it's a great little ability because the weak. So when you look at War Scrolls and you're looking at your attack profiles, you look if you got a strong to hit roll and then a weaker to wound roll, you want to look at ways to buff the to wound roll.
Yeah.
To bring it up, and on most of the Kharadron stuff, your wound roll is 4s. So if you can re-roll the 1s on that and buff that wound roll up, then you can you're just doing a lot more work.
You start to make a lot of difference.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So so it's not, that's pretty good. Especially, I think this is not a bad one for, again, if you're going with Archnaut spam. Basically, I think this barrack get loads more triumphs for your blocks, and then also you can buff up your chemists to make those Archnaut blocks just a bit better in a fight as well.
Okay, because you can reroll those ones to hit also in combat as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just all attacks. So it's ones to wound as well. So, and then you get a great Indrin work for free, but it must be given instead of one to pick. So this might be something that, this it's the Breath of Morgrim. It's basically a 6-inch range thing. Every model within 6 inches on a 6 takes a mortal wound from a unit that you target.
Right.
So it's all right, but I think there are other Indrin works that are better. But then, like we've just said, this is probably your Archnaut spam sort of.
They're also the richest one. I mean, money's power, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
If you're a capitalist swine dog, and you want nothing but to paint your men. I mean, you paint them all gold.
Yeah.
Paint them gold.
That's all they are, right?
Yeah, with diamond bases.
You could just spray everything gold. Done.
Yeah.
Don't paint them gold.
Thematic.
Just cast them all in gold.
Yeah, that's it. Even better.
Dip them in gold.
The most mercantile way to do it would be to pay a small Chinese lad to cast them in gold.
You could dip them all in gold. Still cost less than the plastic.
Yeah, perfect. So this is your Archnaut spam army. And now the thing, can I just jump in here? Because actually the thing that most interests me, having had a skim through the book, is Archnauts. Like, I know that their War Scroll has been changed, and when we get to that, that's going to be a big deal. But for me, like, a 4-up save, like being able to make them all immune to battle shock, for example, but there's still tons of Skyhooks in there. Like, it's a lot of wounds on the board, it's a lot of other crappy shooting that fires off as well, whatever. Like, but you can put a lot of shots on the board, which, originally we saw Joe do the same thing with, we used to see that Archnauts with the Aether Chemist as well, so I still think that's a thing. But we'll see whether or not it's good enough, right?
It's boring as fuck. But
someone's also said mentioning the possibility of using the Ender Spell artifact to generate a free Ender Spell using the Soul Screen Bridge.
Yeah, Soul Screen Bridge or the boat thing.
Or the boat, or Laquan the Soul Seeker.
Bridge isn't quite as good without being in cities, though, is it? Because the range is...
Not as far, but it's still good.
Yeah.
But yeah, right. It's dumb in cities
you
because
lose
of how far it is.
The stupid cities. Oh, I'm on your side of the board on turn 1.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah. It's a silly book with some silly rules.
Nice front cover, though. Thumbs up for that one.
Great story. Not true. Phil Kelly could have done so much better on the story, FYI. Really upset.
I'm not right. Just the front cover.
Okay, good. Go on, Nate. Sorry, is there more barracks?
Yes, Barrack Mornar. This is the one that I like, City of Shadow.
Okay.
So these are the scary pirates.
Oh.
So they are fearsome raiders.
Skull faces.
-1 bravery for enemy units within 6 of Barrack Mornar units.
Okay. You
Great.
say these things like I meant to, like...
That's great.
Did you write this
Scary.
book?
Yeah.
Because you keep telling us stuff, you're like, -1 bravery. I'm like, get to the point.
It's so scary. They're scary.
Scary. It's
I want them all.
so scary.
I want, if you're doing this barrack, I want every single one to be painted with a scary face. Little scary red eyes.
Right behind their
Angry
mask.
face.
Yeah. And then the Kharadron code. So seek new prospects. Your units can reroll battle shock tests in your opponent's territory.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
But first turn you can run and shoot. This is your amendment. Run and shoot. So that's pretty
That's
good.
the one I want. If I want anything, I want run and shoot to
On turn 1, though.
Yeah.
Only on turn 1.
Yeah. First turn.
Only on turn 1.
Turn 2.
Well, by then guns are in range, so why do you need to run any
I
further?
mean, that's a really solid point. But
I mean,
you
on
of
a-
all people should know that
144
you wouldn't need to run
Argonauts.
any more than you have to.
What's the range on it?
calling me fat on air. That is rude.
No. just unfit.
Wow.
No, I know you've been
there's a YouTube
training
clip.
hard.
No, I haven't been, and you know I haven't been. There's no hashtag New Year, New Me. Yeah, we've just all eaten cakes.
Not
I'm
you.
terrified of going to Australia next week. I'll have to wear like a t-shirt, and then I'll genuinely understand how fat I am. It's rude to bring it up.
I didn't bring it up. You did.
Not your fault. I
Maybe
keep buying
you should.
cakes, and I shouldn't buy cakes. I understand why I'm getting fat.
Everyone likes cake.
Apart from lactose intolerant people.
I can get lactose-free cake.
You can get lactose.
You can.
Okay.
Then your footnote: who strikes first strikes hardest. So once per battle, at the start of your combat phase, pick one friendly barrack mono unit within 3 of an enemy. That unit fights at the start of the combat phase. Cannot fight again. Blah blah blah. So you get always strikes first on a unit.
That would be good if there was a good unit to fight with. Is there one?
Yeah. Admirals.
One admiral is fighting first.
No, or Sky Woodens are still quite decent in a fight, and the engine rigger's always great. I mean, Ren 2 on their swords, chopping stuff up.
You only get one attack now, though, right?
Yeah.
Can I thank you very much for Huckabin for the bits donation, by the way. Can I also describe? Is that last barrack? Sorry.
No.
Oh my fucking god! Please continue.
I've not even finished talking about this one.
Oh my
You're not
God.
even paying attention.
Yeah,
so
I am
I
paying
don't know why I'm
attention. It's
bothering.
14 hours of barracks. Tell me.
So, and then if the general is part, so you got opportunistic privateer. So if the general's in the sky vessel as part of the garrison, you can redeploy it after everybody's deployed.
Okay.
Anywhere on the battlefield
Oh, that's huge.
outside of 9 of the enemy.
Jucifer, thanks for subscribing, by the way. So yeah, so
you can ambush people with your boat
yeah. So you take your boat, drop it somewhere
with the
else.
garrison. So
Does it start off the board?
no.
Do any boat start off the board?
No, but you put it on the board and then you pick it up, and so it doesn't matter if it's on the board or not.
It does if someone's got a 1-drop and they kill your fucking boat.
They won't ever kill the boat.
Boats
The
don't
boats-
die.
That's it. I'm saying it what it is. Do you know what Nathan Prescott is with this book? Can I explain to you? I'm a settler. Yeah, I've just come over from Northern Ireland or Republic of Ireland or wherever, and I've landed in the great Americas. And there's a man at the sea who's like, "Would you like your own farm, son?" It's like, "Yeah, I would." He's like, "Here, take this Kharadron Overlord Battletome and go into the Great West. You'll live. It's so much promise." This book is Manifest Destiny, established by Nathan Prescott. You're telling me there's gold over there, but it doesn't sound like gold. It sounds like I'm going to get scalped. That's what it sounds like.
Boats don't die; they
That's
crash.
not what happened.
Yeah, they do.
It's not. It's an inanimate object. Can't die.
Great point, Hook and Pin. Hook and Pin says there's always a bigger boat. Something to remember.
Okay.
I don't know if there is. I don't think Games Workshop make one. I'd like her to check.
A bigger boat. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, okay.
Anyway, the great thing about that is that it means you can, because basically when you go, when you teleport your vessels around, if they're overloaded, they can't teleport. But this lets you teleport a vessel that's overloaded
Oh, so
into your opponent's face.
So you just fill it like a minivan. A bunch of lads go to Butlins for the weekend. Just fucking sling lads in, yeah.
With
And-
guns. Is
yeah,
that
with
what
guns,
happens at
and then you
Butlins?
load it onto a truck. You just dash it forward, and then they all get out. Is that the plan?
Yeah.
Get the shooters, boys.
Get them
Go into the
shooters.
pikey camp.
Yeah.
Refos, thanks for subscribing.
Even after that conversation.
And then the artifact of power is superb in this one. So, Gale Force Stave, at the start of your enemy charge phase, pick one enemy unit within 12 of the bearer. Halve the charge rolls of that unit for that
Oh, that's
phase.
mean.
So, yeah, that's really, really good, especially for the Kharadron Overlords, because you just want to
Do you know?
upset your opponent's armies charging big time.
Do you know where that's gonna?
Because you want to extend that first turn where your army is alive for as long as possible.
Yeah.
So you just you don't move this turn. That way, maybe I'll have my Kharadron Overlords turn 2.
But it gets even worse because I'm gonna just pick out one writing floor. Are we rounding up or rounding down?
Are we rounding up or rounding down?
No, don't have to round off at all. Just halve it.
Halve it, flat, end of.
Okay, cool.
Because you can
Oh, yeah,
measure half
that's-
an inch.
Now, what phase is the teleport?
I don't know. Some people can't measure an inch.
So it happens.
John McGrath, thanks for subscribing. Also, check out John McGrath's
Charge
YouTube
faces.
outright.
It happens after deployment, but before the first battle round begins.
Okay, right, sweet.
So it's, so you can redeploy if you can make a fake deployment, deploy on the left flank, and then everybody gets over to the right, and then your opponent is now too far away to do anything.
Doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the goal. Yeah, I think that's maybe my favourite barrack, but
The redeploy.
the scary pirate fleets.
Scary pirates. They're not the rich ones.
Not the rich ones.
No, the scary ones.
I think they should only have had the rich ones in the book. They should have brought the others out.
I'd like some clarification for us all, because this is an interesting tidbit of information. That the scalping practices were actually a colonialist introduction to the Native American.
No idea. I did teach you a history fact earlier.
Yeah, you did.
We probably shouldn't say it.
No,
on
we
there.
should not say that. But it was an interesting thing brought up by Tristan, a local Canadian, or Canuck as they sometimes use in their vernacular. I don't know which language that is.
We've now got what barrack?
So now we've got Barrack 3. This is the last one you'll be upset to hear, but there we go. We can't carry on for too much longer.
We've genuinely been talking about barracks for 30 minutes.
Good. The city,
Oh, that's important.
the city of the
Import
ancestors.
and-
Yeah. Bloody customs.
That was funny, Dave.
Yeah.
Go on. So which one? Sorry.
So this is the city of the ancestors.
All right. Good. Nice.
So they might believe in gods sometimes.
What, dwarves who believe in gods?
Yeah, these guys might occasionally. So they're incredibly stubborn. If the Skyfarer's model is slain whilst it is within 3 of the enemy, roll the dice. On a 4-up, it can fight before you take it off.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting.
So
if it's in combat and it gets killed, it can attack back.
Yeah.
Okay.
but it's per model, so it's within 3. So you can't take a dude off the back of the unit and say, oh, he's going to fight.
Yeah.
And then your code, so your article is Chronicle of Grudges. So instead of D3, you pick 3 enemy units and reroll hits of 1 for all of your attacks that target them. So it's pretty good.
Yep.
That is good.
Then your amendment is take help where you can get it. So you get 1 in 4 units in your army can be, with the Dwarden keyword, can gain the Barrack Thring keyword and join your Kharadron Overlord army.
Okay, so you can take some old school dwarves.
They do not count towards your number of battle lines. So you can take dwarves,
Yep.
Fire
Dispossessed.
Slayers,
Fire Slayers.
take our
Sorry.
friend Gotrek.
And he's not an ally.
Yeah. Because
There we go.
they join your...
That's the one you take. Done.
Wrecked it. Wrecked it. I was like, how do you get any useful stuff out of this army? No problem. Just put Gotrek in it. Now you've got an army. Start there. Add whatever crap you want on.
Oh, that's the same
a
with
bow.
any army.
Yeah, I know, but specifically for this one, in other armies, there are things that you would want to take because they're
Can
good.
you get in a boat then?
Not as good as Gotrek, though.
That's my point. Well, no. That's
There's
not
no other army with anything as good as Gotrek.
true. Cooking on Terrorgeist.
Not as good as Gotrek. You know, anything you're going to say is not as good as Gotrek, so...
You're probably correct, but I'm just thinking it through.
Right.
Keep going.
So that's great. So the fact that they it overrides the allies because it says it just joins your army.
He can't get in a boat still, apparently.
It doesn't matter. Who? Gotrek?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
They'd be great in a boat, wouldn't
He
they?
can get in a boat, he just can't get out.
Gotrek is Gotrek is the savior of
But
all.
it's a garrison, so he can fight out the porthole.
There's just a little tiny gun hauler with a gut
With a big
in,
axe out the
swinging
window.
his axe straight through a troll hag
Yeah,
and
because
trog.
he can't be set up outside of the boat.
Okay, apparently he needs a marine keyword so he can.
to get out the boat.
To get,
To get
into
in.
The, yeah, you need to be a marine to get in the boat.
Heartbroken. That would be funny.
That would be
I'd
awesome.
love that.
Yeah.
Let's change that rule. Let's have an event where
Gotrek, thank you. Oh, Bud, nice to see you. He says Gotrek torpedo, or Grinaldi points out, and this is great, boat track.
That would be cool. Yeah, he doesn't have the right keyword, unfortunately.
ruined. I'm out.
So that's cool. So yeah, again, if you want to add some Fire Slayers, maybe. Bearing in mind they do get the Barrack Thring keyword, so they will get the reroll 1s buff as well.
Yep. Would they get gold too, right? Or not?
No, because that's only...
Because that's for...
that's for Scar.
Overlords or
Kharadron. Yeah, you don't get the Kharadron Overlord keyword.
But they get the when I die, I roll a 4 up and I fight?
No, because that's only Skyfarers. That one.
Oh, sad face.
Yeah.
But you can have Fire Slayers in, which is good. Again,
Fire Slayers.
Another good army with useful units.
Fire Slayers.
To add in.
You get 14
Longbeards
war scrolls.
Pretty good.
Pardon me?
Longbeard's pretty good.
Yeah. Grumble.
And I don't know if their Grumble would work on these lads actually, but the Longbeards are good, and obviously Fire Drakes and Iron Drakes. I mean, are pretty sweet shooters. But you've got loads of good shooters here. But if you want another option,
it gives you a load of extra war scrolls, I guess, doesn't it? That one.
And then also hammerers are really because combat wise, you don't really have combat blocks.
Mm-hmm.
But if hammerers are a proper scary combat block, so that's not a bad choice actually.
Right, sweet. So just put in some hammers.
Yeah.
This sounds like it's got like the most functionality, and I do like the idea that there's a little there's now a dwarf city. Like Cities of Sigmar didn't necessarily get its own little dwarven city, but now this is like there is a KOC, obviously.
They've also got the best picture.
Oh, nice. All right, sweet. All right, I'm taking it. I'm about
That's
that.
what I'm going with.
Yeah.
And then once per battle, at the start of your shooting phase or combat phase, you can pick one barrack thing unit and then unmodified 6 rolls, score 2 hits on the target instead of 1.
That's good. So you could put that big block of hammers in. They become barrack thring. You throw that on them.
Decent.
And then I mean already they're pretty scary when they roll a 6. So
so you'd be popping both, wouldn't you?
Even more scary. Yeah.
Okay.
So there's that, and then your command trait for your general. When you use the incredibly stubborn ability for him, he does it on a 2-up instead of a 4-up. So if he dies, so that's less useful really, but it's a thing and it's a free rule, so I guess fair enough. And then your Grudge Hammer. So your Skyfarer hero to receive an artifact of power must be given the Grudge Hammer. Pick one of the melee weapons +1 to hit for attacks made by the weapon. In addition, unmodified wound roll is a 6, and it's against the one of the 3 units that you picked to Grudge. It does D3 mortal wounds in addition to normal damage.
Okay.
So that's not bad, but as a weapon. But you probably want other artifacts to buff your dudes, like the flare pistol's pretty sweet. Cool. So do you want to run through some war scrolls quickly?
100%.
Oh, it's the no more barracks.
There are no more barracks.
Shall we just make up a load of barracks and just do
it.
barracks all night long?
It's just I just don't know. Like they all sound like they don't.
That last one was good. I mean, I'm all about that last one.
Yeah, I like the redeploy a whole boat.
Yeah,
fine. But compared to the other stuff,
I think I think there's at least the Barrack Mornar's good with the redeploy, the run and charge that always strikes first in that. So there's 3 decent rules in there.
Yeah.
Then obviously the last one's pretty good with the allies.
I think they stand out the most to me.
The grudge, so you pick 3, you grudge 3 units.
I feel like
the exploding 6s.
I feel like that last one for me is almost an amalgamation of lots of dwarf rules from all over the years, smushed into an army.
Bearing in mind,
you get to still play dwarves, and that's cool.
You can do that in the shooting phase. You can make your 6s explode.
Okay.
So if you take a big unit of thunderers, and there's a lot of shots going out there,
it's cool.
And then you can just have whatever is shooting is dead.
Yeah.
Rerolling 1s, or you can just use your gold, spend your gold, then you're just rerolling all your to hit, and you're just looking for 6s, and then whatever you shoot at is probably gone.
All right. Okay, I'll take your word for it. For me, I feel like the fact that there's not like a shoot twice ability in this army, just once per battle, even, as a kind of especially compared to the I'm not for, and I think fight twice should be taken out of the game. But the fact that it's there, you feel like the army that has there's a lot of combat buffs for a very non-combat orientated army. I agree with you that the Emeralds could do some okay-ish damage, but compared to the other stuff, Like, there isn't a particularly heavily strong combat unit. Like, you know, the Aethematic swords, like, yeah, they're really good. Just fucking make them have 3 attacks. Just, like, make them, like, do that. Like, give them a few more points, make them have 3 attacks, right? And make it, like, give them a dedicated combat unit that's fragile as fuck. If we're talking about Flamers from Tzeentch, amazing damage output.
Yep.
At great range, great movement, summon, teleport, a whole bunch of stuff. But they're pretty fragile. 2 wounds each, 5 save. They're pretty fragile. That's good. It's a good way to like make something like make a scary combat unit in this book.
Yeah.
Just make it fragile.
So how many points are 3 flamers? They come in threes, aren't they?
120 points.
Yeah, so they're the same points as a unit of engine riggers or
Yes,
skyfarers.
but the rest of the Tzeentch book,
Skywardens.
but the rest of the Tzeentch book has got a lot more options. You could have Knights of Tzeentch, Warriors of Tzeentch.
Yeah.
You've got Zangor, Skyfires. You've got like a range of units that can do, you know, that play halfway between shooting and fighting.
Yeah.
And in this, there's a lot of buffs for fighting and nothing really to fight. That's what I'm trying to get at. When I listen to all that Barracks stuff, I'm like, cool. What do
I
you
think
wanna fight?
if you're gonna fight, you take that last one, don't you? You take other units from other armies. I still think one of the biggest problems for me to like buy into some of the new armies, so Fire Slayers, like always liked old Slayers, old world, and it was like, oh, we're making some new ones, and I'm like, there's like 4 boxes. I'm never going to paint them because halfway through I'll get bored.
Right.
And I still think for me like that's an issue. So they're writing a book for 7 War Scrolls. I think there's probably some stuff in there, but for me, like completely separate to the rules. So I'm going to go off tangent for a minute, but like completely separate to most of the rules. I think the nicest thing about that last one when we got there, I'm kind of thinking, oh, that's cool, right? Because I can paint a load of cool models and put them back on a table and have a nice time with it. There's probably a lot of shooting, and maybe if they'd have given them shoot twice, everyone would have cried.
Yeah.
Once per battle. It's.
I think everyone would have cried. I mean, we cry loads anyway.
Maybe, but like I don't know. I just think.
Yeah, I think the problem is like when the first Kharadron book came out, everybody wet their pants because they were just getting shot to. But then the problem was that it happened immediately because nobody played against an ambushing shooting army like that. And so it's the same when Stormcast first started teleporting around. Everybody was crying and wetting their pants because they were suddenly having their armies taken off. But nobody
had a turn.
No, yeah, but because nobody had figured out a screening.
Yeah, I think that a new book comes, doesn't it?
So it's just, it's natural that people won't know how to play, then everybody panics, and so it's a natural thing. But I think this book is quite well balanced, and I think it's got a decent amount of output. It's got it's one of the most maneuverable books.
I'm super excited to see those boats on the table. I'm still never quite sure on the units. Like, as in the look of the models, but love the boats.
Yeah, no, I was just talking about.
I know.
Yeah. And if like you're talking about the Fire Slayers, you like them, but not in like huge big blocks, then that Barrack Thring one is perfect. You can have a block of the combat Hearthguard and a Rune Smiter. So now they've got the maneuverability. They've got the buff from the Rune Smiter. They're part of your army. So now you've got a bunch of fiery dwarves. You've got a bunch of armored dwarves. You got some dudes in boats. You got a nice looking army, and it's pretty good. It's pretty scary. You drop a Hearthguard into the middle of the table, where the objectives are. They're going to be fighting something.
Yeah.
And then you've got guns running around, just pinging, just killing people all over the place. Dead dudes everywhere.
Well, let's have a look, see if they will. So you got Arcanaut Company, who are 90 points for 10 dudes.
Yeah.
And you can have, I think, a max unit of 30 or 40.
30, I think.
30. So you previously used to be 40.
Let's have a look.
So they move 4, classic dwarf.
Yep.
Classic.
Can't move any further.
Can't move any further. Bravery 6.
You can have them in 40s, yeah?
Yeah, you can have them in 40. So there's no horde discount. So it looks like horde discount's something that's getting gone out of the game. The Templar, what up? Welcome to the show.
Where am I? Arcanaut Company. Got it. Oh my, that is a lot of.
And the Templar, thanks for subscribing. What?
I've just opened the Arcanaut Company War Scroll.
Oh, it's not that much. It's fine. Basically, in a box of 10, you get you get a bunch of special weapons.
Yep.
Yeah. So one in every 10 models can replace their private epistle with an Arcanaut cutter. an eighth amount volley gun and gun butt. One in every 10 can have, but basically they get one of each gun.
Okay.
So if you do take the 40, which is 360 points, 40 wounds with a 4-up save.
Yep.
No, wait, that's not right. 180. Oh yeah, 360.
Yeah.
No, 460.
9 you said,
No,
right?
360.
9, 18, 26.
360.
Okay, for 40.
Yes.
Just doubting myself. So then you will get 4 light skyhooks, which used to be the thing that scared everyone, right? So that would be 4 shots, hitting on 4s, wound on 3s, rend 2, d3 damage. So you still get that. You could get 4 Aether Flare pistols, which is 2 shots, 4 3s, and rend 1 damage. Volley pistols, but these are all 9 inches now. But the privateer pistols, so the key weapon that they have, 2 attacks each, 4s to hit, 4s to wound, no rend, 1 damage. So if you just take out the light skyhooks, so you'll have 36, so you'll have 72 shots.
Yeah.
Hit
4s
on
and
4s,
4s.
wound on 4s, unless you have to take the special weapons. No rend and 1 damage. And like Nathan says, you can have reroll 1s to wound, you could have a triumph, so you reroll all to hit. That's actually quite a lot of shots from that unit, but I don't see it like
You can you can replace the privateer pistol, so they could all take pistols.
yeah. You can reroll battle shot test this unit while it's wholly within 9 inches of an objective, and add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made on this unit while it's wholly within 9 inches of an objective as well.
So, to me, I know you're on about big blocks of these dudes, but to me, these are the guys that you just sit on objectives, and they're great. They're going to be re-rolling their saves when they get attacked, and then whatever they shoot back at, they're plus
Because
1
of the
to
gold
hit.
is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These guys are there for the gold.
Right, so a 4 rerollable save is what you're saying if you use some ether gold, and then you do a bunch of shooting, and then obviously you could do all the privateer pistol shots, and you also in close combat you could have 4 sky pikes in there, so you could have 8 attacks.
Yeah.
4s, rend 1 d3 damage, and then the Arcanaut Cutter is again 1 attack each. So they've got a lot of profile because they've got melee and shooting as well. So it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of dice rolling, but I don't know if it's a lot of
Output.
output.
If you roll him 80 dice, so 40, 80 dice, you unless your rolling's appalling,
Well,
I
no,
think
like on average,
you
it's
do
'cause
some
it's
good
because
damage.
It's 4s and 4s. It's 80 becomes 40 becomes 20
Yep.
against a 4+ save becomes 10 damage, and 10 damage is decent.
It's not bad.
It's not damn, but that's if you strike first.
Yeah, I think like 40 on an objective though, so they're 3s and then 4s. Even if they get charged, if they survive the round, they're not battle shocking. The next round of shooting, they should be removing whatever's in combat with them.
Well, this is the other thing as well about the game. The game, Gestalt, like everything. Like you look at a Maw Crusher, right? That motherfucker's going 24 inches,
Yep.
he's charging something. And when it gets there, it's probably going to fucking delete it. Like, a lot of the units that we're seeing, especially seeing competitive play, are units that 100% do the job when they get there, most of the time. They're either, like, supporting or they're, like, buffing to an incredibly high degree. Like, this unit just does not much. Like, so, like, 3 units of 10, like, I was talking about this today. I was like, 3 units of 10, 90 points each, great, that's my chaff line, rad. Yeah, I've got a little Skyhook to fire them off. Like, that's good. Like, if I looked at that another army, good start. Right, what am I putting behind it? And that's where I struggle with this army. I'm like, what do I put behind it?
Thunderous.
Okay, well, should we look at Thunderous?
Yeah.
Let's do that. 'Cause,
I mean, these guys are great, though. For 90 points, that is a lot of stuff.
yeah, I'm not
For
saying-
those points, that's super efficient War Scroll for 90 points.
You think so?
Yeah.
What about the hitting on 4s?
I don't
They've
think
got to
it's.
hit on something. It's better than 5s.
I don't think it's.
Fine.
My whole army hits on 4s.
Which
so-
army?
Gloom Spike gets.
Right. And you're okay. But you have a lot more shots than this, or a lot more hits than this? Not really.
Not really. I mean, so these guys have effectively got 3 attacks each, hitting on 4s. That my fully buffed up Grots have got 3 attacks each, hitting on 4s.
Okay.
So
Similar. All right. Hayward in the chat just said, also, big love. Thanks for subscribing for 18 months. It says, you put your snacks behind them so you can reach them better during the game. Over player answer.
I agree. That's good. Good guarding your pint, guarding your snacks.
he has got tactics.
Yeah, tactics. So the Grundstock Thunderers, right? 2 wounds each, 4 up save. They move 4, classic, and their bravery 7. So now they had their War Scroll changed obviously ages ago. So you have to take 1 of each special weapon when you take a unit of 10.
Yeah, or you just take the rifles.
Or you all take rifles. And what's your suggestion?
1 unit of each.
1 unit of all the special weapons, 1 unit of rifles.
Yeah, my gut tells me that just taking the rifles is probably better, but
And they come in 5s.
it's really tempting to take all the cool.
How
other
many
guns.
points is 5, sorry?
So there are 120 points for 5.
For 5.
So
10
that's
wounds.
10 wounds with a 4-up save.
Okay.
So 30 points more than you're looking at the Arcanaut
Yep.
company. And if you're playing in Barracks, then they are battle line units.
Okay.
So you can go max Thunderers. And they've got their 8th shot rifle, which Nathan just talked about, is 18 inches. And with their move 4, it's going to be 2 attacks hitting on 3s. Nice and better. Win on 4s, win on 1. Rend of 1. So again, great. Doing 1 damage each. For if you take a unit of 30, I mean it'd be very expensive, but a unit of 20, let's just call it.
You're probably taking 10 them in 10s. I would have thought they come in
taking them in
5s, but I would take them in 10s. So they at least start with an 8th gold.
So 240 points.
There, yeah.
Yeah, 240 points. And then they've got the double-barreled ether shot rifle, 4 attacks, 3s, 4s, rend 1 damage. At 18 inches, so that's nice. So you would have 2 of them, so you'd have 8 shots. Then you have the etheric fumigator, 9 inches, 3 attacks, 3s, 3, so it'd be 6 attacks, 3s, 3s, rend 1. So they've got a lot of rend, which is nice, which is the other stuff kind of didn't have. You have to take 1 of each. Subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks made by enemy models within 3 inches of any friendly models armed with an etheric fumigator.
So they're like netters, basically, the fumigators, just with a bigger range, 3-inch range.
So -1 to hit this unit, basically.
Yeah.
Long story short, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of this missile weapon used by this unit while enemy units are within 3 inches of this unit. That ability cannot be used if the model is part of a garrison.
That's unfortunate, but yeah.
So basically, if you charge into this unit in the next shooting phase,
They get an extra attack shot.
on every weapon.
Yep.
Which is pretty great if you can organise it to happen, right?
Yeah.
Especially you put your 10 Arcanauts out, you put your Thunderers behind it, they charge the Arcanauts, you lift the Arcanauts off, you don't pile in your guys, or maybe you pile them in, whatever. But then in your next shooting phase, you get 1 extra attack each.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a risky play.
I'm not sure you want them piling in there. Melee's terrible.
I mean, if you know it's your if you're going second, you may as well just pile
You can
in.
shoot them anyway.
Yeah, exactly, because you're going to shoot them anyway, and they'll be dead.
El Capitan WS10 says Fumigator and the Chemist can stack -2 to hit, so you can be -2 to hit.
Yeah.
So the Chemist buff. But you have to be a very, very short range.
Yeah, they need to be in combat. So maybe you do want to pile them in. You want to pile them in to get that 3-inch.
Yeah, baby.
And it's your units. So yeah.
I mean, it is. I see the drive them back thing is probably less useful. It's an extra rule on there that you probably won't use as many games as you think. And the pin 'em, shred 'em, finish 'em thing, that gives you the +1 to hit if you've got the combination of the special weapons. So you get +1 to hit on all those guns.
On all the guns.
Yeah.
So
no, it's
most
just
of the
on those guns, not on the rifles.
So on the mortar, so the mortar's now hitting on a 2. 3. Deck sweeper, which is now hitting on 3.
And the cannon is hitting on 3s. It just buffs everything up to 3s.
Okay.
But again, probably just taking the unit of rifles is probably your best bet. Better range, and you probably end up with the same amount of attacks.
So that's 20 shots. Hit on 3s, wound on 4s.
Yeah.
Rend 1, doing 1 damage.
Yeah. Likely re-rolling 1s to wound.
Okay. For 240 points.
Yeah.
And if we doubled it up and we went crazy and we had a unit of 20, then how does that not make sense? Surely we use the triumphs. Surely we go bigger blocks in this army to make better use of our triumphs.
No, you get more triumphs.
I know that you get more, but you can only use 1 in a phase.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So my point is if I can only use 1 gold, yes, I've got less gold.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, fair enough. If you're going for an infantry army, you maybe want to do that. A big block of them stood behind big blocks of Arcanauts, blowing stuff away. But for me, I'd like to see these guys inside boats, because that turns your boat into a proper gun platform now. It's got an extra 20 shots.
Right, okay, so you're going to put those 240 points inside of a frigate?
Inside of a frigate or inside of a ironclad, yeah?
Okay.
And then wherever that goes, stuff is dying. big time.
Okay, all right, fair enough. You've hyped it up. So that's the Thunderers. So should we look at the boats now?
Yeah, so if you put them inside an ironclad, yeah?
Yeah.
So
Who's got his save is one better now. He's got
Which
three
was
up save.
important.
save.
I think that's super important. Yeah, 18
18
wounds, 3 up save.
3 up save. He's a flying transport, so it means he can take up to 25 models inside.
Yeah.
And so they're garrisoned inside, means they get +1 to save, -1 to hit, melee and shooting.
Right. So your unit of they've got a 3 up save and then -1 to hit.
Yeah.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And also, if you charge into them, so does their -1 to hit work from inside?
No.
No.
I think all
That
those
would be
rules
too
basically say it doesn't work inside them because they also don't get the 1 attack if they're in a boat. I don't think.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Fair enough.
But if there's more than 16, then you halve the movement of the model and it cannot fly high. So
And it only moves 10 inches.
yeah, but it doesn't matter because you're going to be flying high. So you'd be putting...
So explain how fly high works to us.
So fly high is a teleport anywhere on the board.
Every turn.
Every turn. Out of combat, teleport, you can still shoot.
What if I'm not in combat? Can I still teleport?
You can still do it, yeah.
Right. And if I do that, does it count as a retreat?
No. You can, well, it does count as a retreat, but they've got a rule which is called disengage. So this model and all the models in its garrison can still shoot if it retreats in the same turn, as long as there are no enemy units that can fly within 3. Well, I mean, you've retreated, so there's not going to be anybody within 3.
Okay.
At the start of the retreat.
Right. So if I go and pin them, if I go and tag them with a unit of flying something, then they're not going to be able to retreat and shoot. They can just retreat.
It also can't do it if they're what does it say?
And there are less than 10 wounds allocated to the model at the start of the retreat.
So they have to have suffered less than 10 wounds.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as long as there are no enemy units that can fly within 3 of the model at the start of the retreat move, and there are less than... But, I mean, quite likely you're going to be... It's just the teleport. It doesn't matter if you're in combat. You're unlikely to be in combat, because you'll have shot everybody. You would have used your half-charge thing on somebody that tried to get up to you. And then you just teleport somewhere else and shoot somebody else dead. And it's great.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Weapons-wise, it can either have a great Skyhook or a great Sky Cannon.
Or a great volley cannon.
Or a great volley cannon. So the great Sky Cannon's got 2 modes of firing.
Yeah.
Shrapnel.
Yeah. So you got shrapnel, which is 24 inches, 6 attacks, 3s, -1, 2 damage.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah.
Or you got a single shot shell, which is 3s, 2, -2, 6 damage.
Flat 6.
Yeah. Or you've got the Skyhook, which does the same thing. It's just shorter range. And what that gives you is it gives you +2 to charge.
Okay.
So if you do teleport somewhere and you want to charge some chaff or something, you can do.
So you can potentially... You've got 1 shot to actually do a flat 6 damage.
Yeah.
If you go for the shell option, or you've got the Skyhook. You got 4 d6 shots from the volley cannon, 18-inch range, 3 3s, rend 1 and only doing 1 damage.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd ever take that one.
I don't know. It's a bit of a gamble, isn't it? So what's the average on 4d6s?
14.
14.
No
so
chance.
it's 14 shots.
No chance. I don't know why you wouldn't take the cannon every time.
Well, because the volley cannon will always guarantee you some damage.
14.
Not guarantee.
So you're looking at half of that hitting. So you're looking at 7 damage at -1, whereas the other one 3. So you're looking at 6. So that volley cannon actually does the most amount of damage.
So the maths is on stuff like that is that
It's got no flexibility though, has it?
Because the cannon shell will do 6 damage or it won't.
Yeah.
Which I know seems really obvious. Whereas the volley cannon will chip some damage all the time.
But so that's all you have at 18 inches, whereas that other one gives you a 24-inch that has more chance to do less damage, or one big long range shot that does good damage. And I'm not sure why you'd want to charge your boat.
I think the boat's alright when it charges, right? I think the Sky Cannon is interesting because you can choose between its 24-inch 6 shots. And then you just go, I think maybe you just run around with the 6-shot option, and then occasionally it becomes relevant that you do your 30-inch
Yeah.
shot. But with the ability to teleport and then shoot every turn, I don't need the long range.
No, I think
Yeah.
I am tempted
maybe.
by the Great Volley Cannon, especially if you take in the last word, because that would make it like
Yes.
who
Okay,
the hell
yeah.
wants to charge that? Because just imagine they do roll really good on the
Oh,
46.
yeah, so I forgot that. So
Yeah.
so you're rolling then those 4d6, and
Yeah.
if you roll like
20 shots.
yeah, well 30,
That's-
go big, go
and
30.
I'll roll 20 shots. Oh, I'm going to spend a triumph. And,
You're gonna re-roll it all. Okay,
look,
yeah. So you
your
need
unit of 50 dudes that charge me is suddenly
yeah. So you're gonna
half of them
pump
are gone.
all your kind of buffs into
Yeah.
that
Mm.
because this gets a piece of gold, right? The giant ship gets
Yeah,
a triumph
They
gold,
do, yeah.
golden triumph.
Golden Triumph. Big shout out to Diff from the Down Under Network, who is helping us out with a load of stuff for CanCon for the overlays. So
Okay.
big shout out to him.
Cool.
And the Down Under pairings system that we'll be using for, that they're using for the tournament system, which you can use at any of your tournaments.
I don't have any.
Okay, good. Go on, Nathan. So what else can this giant boat do? Because this is the thing I want.
So this thing, so it's got the big gun, which
Yep.
is decent, whichever one of those options you go for. Then it's got the Aether Shock torpedoes, 4 of them at 24 inches, so good
Yep,
range.
they're decent.
But they are 4s to hit, 3s, -1 D3 damage.
Yeah, pretty decent though, right?
And then Aether Shock carbines, 12 inches, 8 attacks, 3s, -1, 2 damage. So it's just loads of range damage
Yep.
coming out of that boat. Bearing in mind that there are ways to buff those as well, either with the Aether Gold or with the command abilities that you get on the Admirals, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then in melee, it's got some attacks. It's got 8 attacks, 4 4s, no rend,
But
blah blah blah. But I
bone
mean, it's not
max.
there for that. It's got a 3-up save and 18 wounds, and it can heal those wounds pretty easily
Cool.
in this army.
So what you picture, you're going to fill it with troops that are -1 to hit with +1 save, so they're very safe. Like you're going to be, you're hoping that your enemy targets the boat and not the troops.
Yeah.
So then you keep maximum output. You heal, you run around, and then the troops basically are untargetable, and then you keep shooting all of this 510-point model plus the guys inside it.
Yeah, so 710 or whatever. It's going to be like 800 points worth of stuff.
But then you're hoping that it doesn't get just one-shotted by a Gorking Untergeist or a Maw Crusher.
If it dies, because I haven't read this rule yet.
Yeah.
So if it dies, is it the same as the boats of old? The troops have to deploy within a radius and a certain amount away from enemies.
Yeah. So
Because that, to me, that was like the worst
Yeah,
bit.
what happens to the guys inside the boat? Quick question, Specs.
I think they all die.
No, they don't all
no.
die.
So
They all die.
if the model is destroyed before it is removed from play, roll the dice for each model in its garrison. On a 1, the model is slain. Otherwise, set up surviving models wholly within 3 of the model and more than 3 for an enemy. So if you
Okay.
surround it,
Yeah, they're
then
dead.
then they
That's-
whole
they
thing.
That's
dead.
the bit I remember. So I remember,
But if
like,
if it's a Ghoul King on Terrorgeist, that
yeah, then you're fine.
then you're fine. You set up the other side of the boat and then shoot them dead. But the fact is, you've got better range than every Ghoul King on Terrorgeist and every Maw Crusher.
Yep.
Virtually.
Yeah, you just don't want like
So-
12 pigs up in your face.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
So. Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say, the boat having a 3+ is like the best part of that book.
Yeah, the fact that they're giving the boats like
Giant
actual armor save
Armor-clad flying ship that used to have a 4-up save.
and the disengage is good. I don't think I 100% agree with you, Nath, that it won't get pinned down.
Yeah, I
Because-
mean, there's a lot of flying stuff. I must say that the flying thing had gone. I missed that.
No, it's more that
Yeah.
I just don't see that it's not going to get just nuked off the board. Like it's got a big bunch of dudes in. It's somewhere. Now I don't know about drops. Like I don't know if deploying them in the boat counts as a drop, or if you can get close to a 1 drop.
You can get a 1 drop from
With
the
the boat.
battalions. Yeah.
Okay, all right, sweet. Well then, yeah, because you're going to need to. Otherwise, because you're going to need to control the board and the space. Because if you've got any of the armies which can get very low drops,
Yeah.
look at. And
I
some
mean,
of them,
you can get low drops, but you can definitely get a 1 drop if you take the Iron Sky Command.
Yeah, okay. The only reason the reason I bring it up is because you just talked about, or earlier on the show we talked about Dan's City's Sigmar list,
Yeah.
which just goes across the board. Like, so you need to have a threat range, well, not a threat range, a board control presence of beyond 18 inches to make sure that this thing doesn't get nuked in a turn.
Yeah.
Like, because Cities Sigmar, as an example of a variety of different armies that have got utility, are going to be able to just pin this down and damage it from 18 inches. So
I think for me, like the fear would be so, and I'm not even saying they're competitive anymore, but the Beast of Chaos army I ran last year sometime that you could get in a 1-drop in Desolating Brayherd,
yeah,
and you just take 2 huge units of Bestigor with a wizard in the middle who gives them +3, so they're 6, 7, 8, 9 guaranteed move plus a run dice, and they can charge. So I think once, and I mean it takes some rolling, but it's a 1-drop that I have a couple of times got 2 squads of 30 Bestigor across the board in a turn.
Yeah.
That would be horrible for it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But
so
there
you've
isn't
got
many 1-drops
got
left.
super. Yeah, they've got 1-drop. These guys have got a super cheap unit that they can put
Yep.
on the 12-inch line, and then this guy can go right on the backboard edge,
yeah,
and its threat ranges anyway on the
Oh
board.
yeah,
which is
absolutely.
quite scary to give them the first turn then.
Yeah.
Because then they can drop this outside and do a bunch of damage. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. Or you can put, I mean, the Arkanauts are that cheap. You can put 90 point unit, 90 point unit, 90 point unit,
Oh,
then
you could-
these guys
yeah.
behind. Then, it's just a big scary output thing that is super maneuverable.
Okay. Alright.
So,
So that's
the other option is taking 2 frigates for the same amount of points.
next up, the frigates.
So,
14 wounds, nice. With a 4-up save, better. And they move 12 inches, so they're faster. So what's the difference between the two?
So obviously this one's smaller, but if you take 2 of these, it's basically the same amount of points as the other one. These guys can take less, so they can only be garrisoned with up to 15, and then the flying high thing is limited to 11, which is a nice number because
Yep.
it's your unit of 10 Thunderers plus a character.
Right.
They also get the Sky Cannon with the shrapnel and the shell option, but they don't get or you can take this heavy Skyhook.
Okay.
It's not flat 6 though, these are D6 damage.
Cool.
Yeah. And then they don't have the torpedoes, and they've only got 4 of the carbines.
Okay, yeah, so it
So-
gives a lot less shooting.
So it's less shooting if you took 2 of these compared to 1 of the ironclads. It's still less shooting, but it's still a decent amount of shooting.
Yeah, and I always think like D6 compared to flat 6 is huge as well.
There's
And-
also 28 wounds on a 4-up save versus 18 wounds
on a 3-up
Yeah.
save, so probably a bit more survivable. And then bearing in mind, now you've got 2 units of 22. You've got 22 extra dudes inside shooting, whereas the other one would have only had 16.
Yeah.
So that's, an extra 44 shots.
Yep.
Which, when you start saying 44 shots, that's of quality shooting.
But you can't have more than 11 or it can't fly high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 2 units of 10
Plus a character.
plus a character, and each one that's
Compared to 10 in the other one.
yeah.
Yeah, I get
So
it.
it's 40. In fact, the
And it's
sergeants get 4 shots each, don't they? So yeah. So
So,
that's
and
a
then
lot
it's
of
an extra
shots.
eighth of gold, is that right?
yeah, they each come with their own 8th of gold,
Okay.
and it gives you flexibility of being in 2 different places
Yep.
on the board, attacking 2 different points,
Which is important.
splitting up not putting all your eggs in a basket, all of that sort of
Do
stuff. It sounds like an amendment or an article.
do garrison troops in a boat count towards the amount of models you have on a boat?
No.
Okay.
So that, again, another problematic thing with putting the dudes in the boat
Yeah.
is
They've got to get out to cap.
they've got to get out to capture it, so they don't really have the movement that you might think that they do, because they can't. Once they are, I mean, you do get the intrinsic bonuses that Kharadrons get once they're near an objective, or the Arkanauts at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's odd. They're a really fast army that has to stand still, because the game you have to stand still. You
Yeah.
have to stand on objectives.
Yeah, but you also have to move to the objectives.
True.
And you have to move around. I mean, if you delete somebody off the objective, then one model's going to claim it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just curious
Mm.
because obviously it makes them way stronger.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
park a big,
Oh, yeah, it
if you
would
parked
be.
a big fat boat.
Yeah, full of dudes. And
Yeah.
then that would be horrendous. That would be a real pain in the butt to shift.
It's interesting. Sorry, I'm nosing as we
Yeah.
go. That you also lose the ability to disengage after you come at a certain wounds point. So once
Yeah.
that's taken 9 wounds, it can't run away and shoot.
Yeah, but okay, yeah. So we didn't finish the Ironclad actually. So the Ironclad
Sorry.
other abilities. In your hero phase, it just heals a wound.
Yeah.
And
the eighth navigator.
yeah, and it can re-roll run rolls as well.
Cool.
So it's a bit quicker than your normal sort of thing. At the start of the combat phase, pick an enemy unit within an inch, roll the dice. On a 4-up, they take D3 mortal wounds.
Always good.
Yeah, and then you've got the disengage room that rule that we spoke about, and then you've got fly high, which is instead of making them, that's the teleport one. You get +2 to charge if you've got the Skyhook, and then the great cannon you can choose. So you've got your first bit of healing there, and then you've got heroes that can heal it, and
Yep.
then other units can heal it
Okay.
as well.
So you can
So
keep it alive.
Yeah, and so you can make sure that you're good for disengaging as well. And then so these got the frigate gets the same +2 to charge, and you can also chop and change on your sky cannon
Cool.
between the two things. They also heal the wound, the frigate, every
Yep.
turn, and it can also reroll runs. Also does D3 mortal wounds on a 4-up, and got the disengage and fly high
In the
rules.
combat phase,
Yeah.
it does the D3.
Yeah,
wounds. We lost the flagship rule, Horace is saying in the chat.
Yeah.
Which is thing. And also, and this is really important, it can take a boat effect.
It can take a boat effect.
Great engine work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
boat effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think the Ironclad have got better options than the frigates on that, though. So, and then while we're doing boats, we may as well.
Yeah. What about our little boat that
The-
everyone got in their copy of?
So this
whatever it was.
is the one everybody's got loads of this because it comes in all the box sets,
That's
doesn't
it.
it? So the Gunstruck Gun Hauler, so it's 150 points.
It used to be rubbish, right?
Yeah,
Really rubbish. But
Like-
then, arguably, all of them were rubbish. There was one build that went first, nuked you off the board, so then they nerfed the book, and then they were like, oh.
Well, so it was a really good book for 2 weeks.
No, it was longer than that. It was longer.
Was it?
Yeah, it was longer.
Okay. 6
and,
weeks.
And even the double, even loads of Arcanauts with 8th Chemist was a build as well that was decent.
yeah.
It just
There
was-
were other builds there, just everybody only played the one build
Yeah, it was
most
just-
of the time.
It was just quite a monosyllabic book, realistically, because they don't give them. Just give them a combat unit. Just go. This unit is decent-ish at combat, even decent-ish.
But it's okay now because you can take hammerers.
It's
fine.
No, you can.
Well,
but-
They've solved it.
And there are decentish combat units in
Well,
in the bubble guys, yeah.
Apparently not, according to Robert.
Well,
We'll come back. We haven't got to those yet.
we don't agree, but Nathan has told me he's going to show me, so I'm
Okay.
all ears, and I'm not naysaying.
Yeah.
Or
So-
naysaying.
So the gun haulers got the sky cannon.
Yeah.
Or you can take a drill cannon, which has got even better range, 36 inches, 3s, -3 rend, doing D3 damage. But if you...
But the Sky Cannon's worse, because it's not a great Sky Cannon, so it does D6 damage.
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
flat,
So it's the same as the frigate's sky cannon.
Mm.
And it does D6 attacks, yeah. But if the unmodified roll for an attack made with the drill cannon is a 5-up, it takes 3 mortal wounds. Do not make a wound or save roll.
Cool.
So, again, you're probably going to take the sky cannon. I mean, the mortal wounds at range is quite interesting, but it's also got the fly high thing and the disengage.
Okay, and it's cheap, right?
And it's 150 points, this is.
Okay.
10 wounds, 4-up save, 12-inch move.
For 150 points, I get 4 shots. No, I don't even get that. I get a drill cannon. No, I don't even get the drill cannon, so it's different, right?
The drill cannon is
Yeah.
a different weapon, yeah.
So I get 2 shots, and then a random attack. So it's a cannon that flies.
It's a bit flexible, and then it's also got it gives a 6-up ward save to your other boats, but I mean that's
That's
hardly anything worth writing home again. But once per battle, it moves 18.
Okay. But it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it just does a fair bit of shooting, but not like massive amount of shooting. I'm still not sure whether this thing is great.
How many points is it?
150 points.
I think
it's slightly overcosted,
I mean,
but I think it's got a cool set of rules, really.
Within three's kind of where's this rule gone? But then within the escort vessel thing,
Yeah.
I think that might have 150 points worth of worth.
Really?
If it wasn't 3 inches, like if that was 6, you could have your big boats that mattered, that you know have got all your guys in, and you can't afford to lose them.
It's true.
And then you put it behind them to basically keep them alive.
Yeah, but you are just stacking more points on top of that
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, you are. But I think that's how the army plays. Just listening to where we're going. However, within 3 is the worst. Like, it's not worth it. Because if someone's in combat with you, they're probably in combat with this boat, and then you just kill the little one.
I mean, it's a very mobile war machine, basically.
Yeah, it's like a flying cannon.
Which haven't proved to be
Very good.
real game changers at the moment.
War machines don't do
in
anything,
general.
do they? It's like that.
They do. It's again that kind of conversation we had about the cannon versus the 46 shots. The 46 shots does stun every turn, therefore it seems to have a more cumulative effect, whereas those one shots flat 6 damage, or in this case that variance of
Well, I think
6.
it's so that drill cannon. So if you're thinking, so you're like, okay, so I've got 36-inch range and I can move 12. So I'm basically shooting the board.
Once per game, you can move 18.
Okay, but I mean with 12-inch move, 36-inch range, I'm shooting the board, completely shooting the board. But if I get that off, I'm only doing D3 damage. So if you're going against Hallowheart and you're like, right, that wizard, gonna kill him.
It's good. It's good.
Oh, it takes me 2 turns to kill him.
I mean,
Buy
so
more big
it
boats.
does get a share of 8th gold as well.
Okay, so you could
Jim 1080 says the thing I like about the gun haul is that you can hitch 7 balloon boys to it, so it can make a decent MSU list of 3 gun haulers and 6 via 3 balloon boys.
Yeah. So the strength of the gun haulers is if you're going in a very balloon centric army, because like he says, you can hitch a ride with them, and also there is one artifact where you can take 5 dudes inside.
Okay. How many guys did you say?
We've just had an audio introduction from one of our international listeners has just wanted me to play this.
If you play this on the air, I'll give you a hand job at CanCon.
Sorry, that was just a quick.
Did you know what you were getting for playing
what
that?
I was going to say, but now I've got a free hand job happening at CanCon from a man who lives in the cold of New York.
There you go.
Steel girders. That will be like
Cast.
Yeah, that's going to be rough.
I don't want it.
Practice with some sandpaper before you go.
Oh God. But balloon boys are as fast as a gun hauler. Gun hauler moves 12 inches, so it's
it's for the fly high. So basically, it lets you teleport your balloon boards around the board.
Right.
So you're paying for this boat for other reasons than the boat.
Yes.
Yeah, but bearing in mind you are getting a load of shots as well.
Yeah,
so you're going to be teleporting. So you're probably going to be doing the D6 shots, 3s, -1, 2 damage.
Yeah, it's the best one, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
So Dexterman says you can also give the gun hauler a compartment if you give him a boat.
So that's the one. So that's what I was saying, where you can put 5 dudes on. So you can either
4 of Nathan's hammer admirals together with a chemist with the endless spell.
Yeah.
That's what this seems to be like a Nathan Prescott thing.
I think so you put the chemist in, you put some guys in, you make it better. It's 100. It's not. So you could put the 90 points for what was it for 10? No, can't put them in.
So you can put.
But you can put 4 admirals in.
You can either put 4 admirals in, which is like the funny build, and then they reach out with their hammers, and so each are doing 4 attacks each.
Okay.
And so suddenly nobody wants to fight this gun hauler because it's full of admirals with big hammers.
But they do 4 attacks each.
Yeah.
So, I get it. So it's basically a monster with 16 attacks that do damage 2.
damage 2, Ren 2 or something like that.
Okay,
But-
alright, I get it now.
But if someone charges it first with a big unit and wraps it and kills you,
Yeah.
you lose all your admirals.
yeah, but whatever. Stop literally
You'd-
shooting down our hope.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I was just thinking. Actually, if you put like 5 of the rifle thunderers in,
Yeah, so
it makes it good.
yeah, that's the proper build, is that you put a small unit of thunderers in.
Here.
Okay.
So now you're flying. So it's an extra 120. So it's 270 points. But then it's got your D6 attacks, 3s, -1, 2 damage, and then it's got another 14 attacks doing 1 damage.
So Grenadi in the chat said that would be an Admiral Stock Hammer Hauler. That would be the name of it.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Okay. All right.
So then it's quite a mobile gun platform with the
Yeah.
5
Think of
5 thunderers, and that's actually quite a viable.
Yeah. How
build,
much?
that.
How much is the next boat up? How much was
The
the?
frigate.
Yeah.
250.
250.
Yeah, maybe just take a frigate though.
Yeah, but you're missing out on key elements here because you're spending points on this and the frigate, both of which you could be spending on Fire Slayers in a different army.
Oh, but then you wouldn't be flying around shooting things.
Yeah.
Not true. You could have some balloon boys. They can fly around and shoot some things.
How are you supposed to do drive-bys with fire slayers? Boat buys.
I also wouldn't take any Fire Slayers because they're ugly.
They are.
Face.
I just need, like maybe I need to play against it. I just don't get the boats. I don't see it. Like I think the Admiral Hammer thing is hilarious, and I'm up for that. Like I'm well up for that. They're like, "What'd you do?" I'm like, basically this one thing, and it's hilarious. Yeah.
And then you play an army that pendulums and mystics and spells it off the board, and they all die.
Maybe, I don't know. It's just you think about what's out there for it to fight, and again, I don't really. I try and picture the whole tabletop as I'm playing. I just don't see how it's safe, but maybe it is safe. Maybe I'm just wrong. What's next? So should we talk about the Balloon Boys because we've been talking about them quite a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got the Sky Wardens, you've got Endrin Riggers. Endrin Riggers are. Is there really a difference? They're both kind of combat-y, they're both kind of shooty. Sky Wardens. They've got 12-inch move, they've got a 4-up save, and they've got 2 wounds each.
Yeah, so these are more combat orientated, I think, and they've got the mines. So the main difference is the Sky Wardens have got mines,
Yep.
and then the Engine Riggers heal boats. So
Okay. So the Sky Wardens have got their mines, as stated by Nathan, which is the time charges. Roll 1 dice for each enemy unit that is within 3 inches of this unit immediately before this unit makes a retreat move. On a 4+, the unit being rolled 4 suffers D3 mortal wounds, which is pretty bad as an ability. And if an enemy unit, in my opinion, if an enemy unit, because it's a combat unit, so I want to be in combat doing damage, so I don't want to retreat. And also, I don't have, it's not like a Fire Slayers block that's really tanky and can fight and then retreat and get hit again later. It's 2 wounds with a 4-up save. So it's not brilliant. Sky Mines, if an enemy unit that can fly ends a charge move within 1 inch of friendly units with this ability, roll 1 dice for each model of that unit. For a 6, it suffers mortal wound. Again, interesting, if this unit had lots of models, like if you were like, I've got 12 of these, then that's 2 mortal wounds.
1 dice for each model in the enemy unit.
So it's worse. So like, if I've just got my big, like, if I've got a Bloodthirster as an example of a terrible monster that I don't think is any good, I can roll 1 dice and try to do 1 mortal wound. Why write the rule?
No, because if you get attacked by screamers or flamers or things like that.
Even if you did it with like Screamers got 3 wounds each.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, it's
you'll
just some chip damage, isn't it?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
I agree. I don't think the mines are that good, personally.
The time. They're still no, because you
Anyway,
still want to be in
so-
combat.
What weapons they have?
So if you're going to take them with their normal weapons, they take a pistol, which is 2 shots, 3s, -1 damage at 9 inches.
So they shoot better than Arcanauts.
Yes, they do. But then these are your elites. And then their melee weapons, which is what, their basic melee weapon is 2 attacks, 4s, 3s, -1 D3 damage. So they with 2-inch reach. So they're decent in a fight.
Yep.
Got rend and they got D3 damage. So
Yep.
decentish in a fight. You can take special weapons. So you can take a body gun, a grapnel launcher or a skyhook, and a drill launcher. So you can only take basically 1 in every 3 can be have the volley gun, and then another 1 in every 3 can have the drill launcher, or the grapnel launcher, or the Skyhook. So you can only have 2 special weapons.
Okay, and 1 fighter.
And 1 normal dude.
How many
in every 3?
points for 3?
120.
Okay, I'm gonna just for 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, who wrote the rule? No more than 7 models can hitch a ride. Why is it 7 when they come in 3s?
Because there's characters that have got bubbles. So you can take a unit of 6 and a character.
Okay.
And they can hitch a
They're
ride.
only 100 actually.
That's-
Only 100. Oh, okay.
That's better. I was
Yeah.
That was annoying me. Thanks, Nathan.
Yeah.
We fixed that.
We fixed
Cool.
it.
So if you take the special weapons, which are good, I think.
Mm.
So 24-inch range on the volley gun, 4s, -1 damage.
Yep.
6 attacks. Your grapnel launcher or Skyhook is 1 attack, 4s, 3s, -2, 3 damage. That also gives you +1 to charge.
Okay.
If you take the Skyhook, the Skyhook, that's right. If you take the grapnel launcher, it means that people cannot retreat from this unit.
Which is fine because it's not really an attrition unit, is it?
Yeah, it's 4-up save. So against some units, that's not bad. Bearing in mind, it can re-roll that 4-up save.
Yeah.
And then you could take the drill launcher, which is 1 attack, -3 Ren, doing D3 damage at 24 inches.
I think the key part though is that like if this is this a combat unit, the
Yeah.
Skylords effectively.
Yeah, although I would say the engine riggers are maybe better in combat because they're the ones with the -2 rend.
What?
They've only got 1 attack though.
What base are these on?
40 mils. No, 32s.
32s. I don't
But
see
they've
it.
so they've got 2 attacks each. So if I'd spend 200 points,
It's more the 2-inch range that's random.
it's a big pike, right? That's fine. But like, so if I spend 200 points, I'm
Don't need
gonna get 12 attacks, hitting on 4s, so I'm only gonna get 3 through. 3s to win, Ren 1 doing D3 damage, which isn't like horrific, but comparative to Flamers, and I know Flamers probably are undercosted, but they're just the thing that's in my head at the minute.
Yeah.
As an example, they move 9, 18-inch range, so it's a 27-inch effective range. They're 3 attacks each that hit on 4s, wound on 3s. They have no rend, but they do D3 damage for 120 points compared to this 100
So
points.
it makes these guys sound alright.
I guess so. If you take
4-up save as well.
I guess if you take in the shooting into effect as well.
Yeah.
So if you can take a unit of 12 of these, right?
That's
Yes, you
It's
can.
not really that expensive.
100 points.
400 points.
It is expensive, but again, if you're talking about that total war mentality that I was talking about earlier, like I need to delete a thing.
Yep.
I'm not going to send 3 of these lads in to do a job. I'm probably not sending
yeah.
6 in. So somewhere between 300 and 400 is where I'll sit. Maybe 300, but like they move 12. They can get out boats. For example,
They can teleport very easily.
Yeah,
as well.
they've got some
hitch a ride.
movement.
Yeah.
The engine riggers, because I'm just now noticing, their stats maybe look more consistent.
So if you think of 300 points, if you think of 9 of them, like it's not a very survivable unit at all. Super fragile.
But you're just going to chuck it up someone's face turn 1 and hope.
18 attacks hitting on 4s. So 6. They're still not doing. They're not killing a thing. Like
Well,
they're not even,
depends what the thing is. It might be a wizard. They're killing a wizard.
Yeah, it's a bit of a. It's a bit of an investment.
But if you compare it to the Flamers, they're similar stats, aren't they?
No,
But-
because it gets as you stack more Flamers, you get better. Like in my opinion, like because the 12 Flamers, if you target which the 12 Flamers coming at 480, the 12 of these coming at 400. So the 12 Flamers have got that 18-inch range, so they're not engaged in combat, so they're not being hit back.
Yeah.
And then they're doing 36 attacks, 37 with the boss man, and if they're on their base stats, it's 4s and 3s, no rend D3 damage, unless they're shooting a horde, in which case it goes all the way down to a 2s and 3s, no rend D3 damage, or it could be a rend. But my point with these guys is I'm going to get my 12 guys, so I've got 24 attacks down on 12s. They're not. The Flamers are killing a unit, I don't think these guys are killing a unit.
Well, I mean,
Unless I'm reading
so
it wrong.
if you take the Sky Wardens, I think you're probably going to load them out with the special weapons. So if you take 12 of them, so it's 4 of each of the special weapons. So you got 24 attacks, 4s, -1 damage. And then you'll probably have 4 attacks at -3 rend doing D3 damage.
Alright.
Bearing in mind, then if they're a unit of 12, they'll get an eighth of gold, so you can decide to reroll to hit for a turn. Maybe.
Well, that's huge.
and
Yeah,
then-
that eighth of gold bit is a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, so suddenly, a load of attacks at -3 rend, which the flamers.
Yeah, and you're right, rerolling to hit. So there's the secret, isn't it? Like that 400-point unit now is deleting the thing.
Yeah.
Because you're spending 1 gold.
Yeah, exactly. Or if you decided that these guys were from Barracks
Is that in that phase?
in that phase.
So you reroll to hit in that phase.
Yeah, yeah.
And can you spend more than 1 gold on 1 unit per battle round? My question is can
Per
I...
battle round. Yeah, it's once. It's limited to per phase.
So I can
only
take my
one.
400-point Skyward unit, I can reroll to shoot, and then I can charge them in, and I can reroll to hit in combat.
Yeah.
All right, then that's very, very scary. Yeah.
Yeah, but yes, but no, because you can only take 1/8 of gold unless you take the Barrack,
The merchants.
Urbaz, Jonathan's Barrack,
Yeah.
and then you could give these guys 2, and then for a round, like you say, or 2 rounds of shooting, you know.
Because I think that's all you need. Like that's where the game is at the minute. It's like it's trading pieces. Like the game's so total at the minute,
Then-
where one unit deletes the other unit.
The other thing is though, if that's the way you're building your list, where you want to make a super unit like that, or 3 or 4 super units, you can then decide to take the navigator with the marker light flare pistol.
Yeah.
Now you're just re-rolling to hit, and you don't have to spend your 8th of gold. You can spend your 8th of gold on re-rolls to wound. So
Okay.
bang, mark them out, re-rolling to hit, spend my gold, re-rolling to wound, whatever that thing is, it's dead.
That's the problem. I haven't seen the buffs because they're not like in traditional places, right? Not in a spell. They're not in like a command ability.
Yeah.
They're locked away behind other stuff.
Yeah, or else they're in the battalions. I think there's a couple of buffs.
Because I guess the other way you do that.
So there's
is-
also a melee skyport that gives them +1 to hit and wound.
Yep.
Which is
Barracks on.
I don't think I'd waste that unless like that was my
well, if
plan.
you're going flat, those and
So now at
Sorghars.
400 points, they're Skyfires really with the buffs.
Yeah.
That you know.
Or if you just got an Aether Chemist nearby, you can give them the reroll 1s, and then you don't have to roll any dice. You can use your buffs for other things.
Hustler and Cacklear, thank you very much for subscribing, by the way. Big love. Thanks for joining the show. All right. I'm actually convinced now that there's some. I got my 3 units
you
of
go.
10 Arcanauts. I'm not putting boats behind there, but I'm going to put these guys behind there.
but they want a boat to hold on to.
Maybe. But that's good. No, because I want a brick of 12.
And
I
there's
want my 1/8 of gold to do all of the work.
But you could have those, or you could have these Endringers,
Endringers.
whatever they are.
Engine riggers.
That's it.
So these guys, on a 4-up, each model can heal a wound to a sky vessel. That's their
Keeping their boat alive.
special thing.
That I won't have on the board.
It's got a boat effect though. You've got to take one because you want to say boat effect.
No, disagree.
So these guys also
Boring.
got all the special weapons: the volley gun, the skyhook, the drill launcher. Or
Yeah, it's the
those-
same, I think.
the grapnel launcher and the skyhook do -2, 3 damage, flat 3 damage, by the way.
Okay.
And they also give you the +1 to charge or
And I can have 1 in every 3.
the not retreat ability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can have 1 every 3.
Yeah,
So
you can
my big brick of 12 is going to have 4 of that.
Why is it a grapnel launcher or a skyhook?
So you can choose to take one. So if you take the skyhook, you get +1 to charge.
Okay.
Because it's like pulling
And-
yourself towards
And the
stuff.
grapnel launcher does.
Stops people running away. So you
Okay.
can't retreat from
So one or
units.
the other.
Or you could have one of each if you're 6 or more.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Now the engine riggers have got rivet guns, so they've got a much better hand weapon if you're going without the special weapons, which are 3 attacks, 3s, 4s, -1 damage.
Yep.
And they could be a battle line.
At 12 inches, yes.
Okay.
Both of these can be battle line. And then, but their athematic saws are 3s and 2s, -2 rend D3 damage.
But only 1 attack each.
One extra for the
But still, it's pretty effective. 12
Mizzen
attacks.
Master.
Yeah, it's high quality attacks, aren't they?
Yeah.
if
Because
you-
they hit on 3s, wound on 2s.
Yeah, if you wrote that on a monster war scroll, 13 attacks
Yeah.
for they're 100 points each. So if you could take a break of 12 for 400 points, 13 attacks. Yeah, then if you read that as a monster, you're like, okay, decent. That's quite
A
interesting.
scary 12-inch flying monster.
Yeah, then that's something more reliable, especially with the shooting on top of it.
Yeah.
It's actually a thing. But I don't see these. See these like are all or nothings. Like I would much rather commit to 9 to 12 of these than I would a boat. I think these do something compared to a frigate, not a frigate, ironclad.
Yeah, they do, but boats look so cool.
I agree. I want them
And
to be like. I
the
want them to be
boat-
great.
I
It's got a 3-up save now.
when we read through the boat, that's a scary amount of shooting that the boat is doing. So, and it's carrying a load of thunderers and stuff.
Yeah,
like
but then
that.
it
does other stuff as well. So
All right. Okay. I just want more balloons now. That's my decision.
Cool. That's fine.
Change the mind.
At least you like the
No,
book.
I've never been on about the boat, so
Yeah.
I want the boats to be good.
Well, yeah.
So what
So
special
some
weapons you
Argonaut-
got? Not special weapons, special other rules.
So healing boats.
Healing boats, heals boats.
Yeah. Which, if you're not got boats, then
I think I like this because I think the engine riggers are just better. They've got the Skyhooks, which do that flat 3 damage at Ren 2. And then they've got the Aethematic saws.
yeah. So it's you just look at the saws and the rivet guns.
Can they all have rivet guns?
Yeah.
What, you prefer the rivet guns?
Well, that's what they come with, and then you swap them out for the other 3. So the other 3 weapons, the Sky Wardens can take.
Right, okay. Alright.
So it's up to you to decide whether you want mines or healing boats, really, and with if you're going to take special weapons. If not, then the saws and the rivet guns
I think the
are
saws
probably
are
better.
I think the saws feel better than the pikes, though.
Yeah, saws and
Saws are
rivet
better
guns.
than saws are better than pikes in most cases. You would have thought, and then obviously the rivet gun beats the vulcanizer pistol hands down.
All
So
day.
And also, it's important for the build Rob wants that they can repair the boats.
It's not that. Like I feel like my brain, what it's trying to do with this story, like this. I was going to say this at the end, but I'll say it now. Like this is clearly a challenging book. Like it's challenging to unpick and unlock where maybe like when we talked about. When, like I started out the fucking City Sigma with as a long time Halo Heart player, like it fucking screams at you, right?
Yeah.
Like a bridge, like a Soul Screen bridge. Whereas this, it's like you're saying a lot of numbers, you're saying a lot of abilities, but it doesn't mean much. Like even to people like us who've played a lot, who I would say this is my job, I do this all day every day. So for someone who's just picking up a book and is like meh. Like, this is a challenging conversation. I think it's great, and I'm enjoying it. Thank you very much for being a part of it. And I hope if you're listening at home, you've enjoyed it. But it's a tough one because it's not what I would consider to be...
oh, there's nothing obvious, but
It's not an easy book.
the fact is, though, when you look through everything, everything is good for its points, but it's just now how it all combines together. Whereas some stuff, like you say in some of the other books, something is like a fucking glaring sign, you know.
Pick me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
Whereas everything is decent in there. There's no, it's not like, it's the allegiance ability is good, but it's not like blow your mind, your brain.
It's not broken.
Yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Well, it's like OC Arcs, right? Like, I played a couple of practice games with you, and I was all about the Mortec Guard and the Crawlers. But they're not the Crawlers, the Harvesters. But then as we played on, I was super into the
Riders.
the Death Riders, and then really into the Stalkers. And I was just like, okay, there's other stuff in here that's not quite as simple as on paper.
Yeah.
And so that's why we have these combos.
Well,
but-
shall we look at the heroes quickly then?
yeah, go on.
So, the new guy, the engine master with the dirigible suit.
The guy without the top hat.
Yeah, but with the balloon and all of the moustache guns and all of that. He is a nutter, this guy.
Is he your fave?
Yeah. So he's moved 12, 8 wounds with a 3-up save.
That's good.
He's like 220 points, I want to say.
I'll find it for you in a
He's
minute.
he's a pricey hero.
He's a lot of points, but he's got a cannon. He carries his own personal cannon,
Important.
which is 3s and 2s, minus 2 Ren D3 damage.
Nice.
And then 6 shots, 3s, minus 1 damage.
Cool.
And then another shot, 3s, 2s, -1 D3 damage.
It's got a good name, that one,
So
too.
it's got the gaze of Grungni. So just loads of output, loads of ranged output, which is pretty sweet. And then in a fight, 3 attacks, 3s, 2s, -2 D3 damage. So he's got the engine rigger attack, but he's got 3 of them.
And he can have artifacts,
Yep.
command traits.
Yep.
So he
Yes.
can be buffed up. And if I take him, which is super tempting, I can take
Balloon guys as battle line. So
specifically the engine riggers,
Yeah.
who I think are the better ones.
So if you're going to do a 1-drop, this guy needs to be your general,
Okay.
basically.
I also just noticed he can also grab onto boats and fly
Yeah.
away.
So
Yeah,
he's
but it doesn't matter though. Like now, we're getting it. It's just balloon boys. Like
and Arcanauts for bodies
yeah, and
screen them out. Yeah.
Yeah, and for screening, because we're so scared.
So he just heals 3 wounds to a sky vessel
Yep.
as well. No rolling dice or messing about. He can make the engine riggers heal better with his command ability. Reroll their 4-ups.
Nice.
And then he's got the Hitches rule as well. And like you say, he can take the command traits and the special. He's got his own set of special artifacts that he
Okay.
can take as well. But also, he can go in the Iron Sky command as your general. And then that's where you get your
One drop.
a 1-drop from.
Okay.
So
So he's good.
he's good. Then you've got the Arcanaut Admiral, 6 wounds with a 3-up save. He's only movement 4, but that's fine because he can actually be garrisoned inside a boat. So
Cool.
the balloon guys can't be garrisoned, by the way.
Okay, yeah, because they have to hold on.
They only can
They
hit
got
your
their own
line.
balloons.
We're just taking block.
Hang on, so the Arcanaut Admiral is the 4 that we're putting in a boat.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was the janky 4 in a boat dude. But okay, so he's got if you want a job done, do it yourself sort of thing. So reroll hits and wound rolls of 1 if you target a hero or monster.
Yeah.
So he's only got 3 pistol shots, 3s and 4s -1, doing 1 damage, and then 3 normal attacks, 3s and 2s -2, doing 2 damage. So
That's pretty good.
6 damage-ish. So he's not a great deal of volume of attack, but I mean it's decent for a little hero.
Yep, and he's got
Yeah.
command abilities coming out.
And then he's got so he's got 4 command abilities,
Yeah.
has he? Or 3?
when
1.
when one's not enough.
Yeah. Oh, he's
take
got
4.
Tis
four
never.
command abilities. He's also got on a 5-up you can bounce wounds onto Skyfarer units that are
Okay.
around you, and also he's got a 12-inch battle shock immunity bubble.
There you go.
So
Well, just naturally.
yeah, I didn't notice that before. Do not take battle shock tests.
Friendly Kharadron Overlords units while they're
Wholly
wholly
within
within 12
12.
inches of this model. That's amazing.
What?
That's really good.
That's how many points is he again? 140, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's wow.
That's good
That's-
if you want to put 36 balloon dudes around him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing is that he can't keep up. But if you're going with your Arcanaut board,
Hey,
build,
just keep six
This
running
guy's-
those run rounds.
this guy's great.
Just keep rolling
He's useful for
sixes.
turn 1, which is all I care
Yeah,
about.
and bear in mind also he gets a share of Aether Gold as well. He's got his 3-up save, so
Why hasn't he got like 8 wounds though?
6 wounds with a 3-up, so 2-up in cover.
No, I hit you. It's just an Arc Regent's got 7 and heals 3 a turn.
Yeah, but we're playing a proper game, not that stupid game. He's got 4 command abilities. So at the
Are
start,
we not going to give him his own? Dave Fraser's asking. Are we not going to give him his own personal transport gun hauler?
Apparently not anymore.
No, we decided not to.
No.
He's on foot now, just
Yeah.
walking.
no, he's going in a frigate or a. Yeah, I mean he could go in the gun hauler, but he's more likely to go in a frigate or a ironclad.
Or, good point, give him a thermal rider cloak. Motherfucker's movement A. Stick him in Tempest Eye.
Isn't that magic? They don't like magic.
Not Tempest Eye. You can't be in Tempest Eye.
Yeah,
He's
okay,
KO.
that's KO.
That's the KO one. Motherfucker. Do you know how fast he's going now?
You know how
400.
fast the rest of these guys are going in that thing as well. The balloon guys,
Oh my
and
god.
+1 save, and
+1 save on the balloon guys. I've just decided. I'm just taking 36 fucking balloon guys in Tempest Eye.
There you go.
There we go. Now we're playing Warhammer. The KO bit we can leave behind, but the units straight in.
All 7 war
Right, no,
scrolls.
to be fair, I want the reroll. I need the reroll to hit.
it's
right?
only 1 in 4 as well. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, okay.
And they're getting no gold.
I'm just taking chaff tens of.
They need gold.
Because wasn't everyone and their fucking mum on about? And my mum rang me and she was like, "Have you heard about Shadow Warriors?" And I was like, "Fucking, won't people won't shut up?" And I ain't seen a Shadow Warrior for love nor money.
It's because no one can find them.
They're
They're still in a red bordered box, I reckon, if you buy them.
In the shadows.
Anyway, sorry.
Right, command abilities. So he's got one where he's in a sky vessel, and that vessel can shoot even though it ran. So you give run and shoot to sky vessels.
Oh, question: does the Battleship immunity work while he's inside the boat?
Can't do, right?
And then it would be wholly within 12 inches of
Yes, it does.
your pimp hauler.
Yeah, because it's garrison.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yes, it will do. Unless it says otherwise, it does.
All right, sweet. Sweet. So
Because you take the rules for garrisoning, and which it would do. So the only rules for garrisoning that you can't use are the controlling objectives. So
Right.
Okay, that's sweet.
and then on your mark fire, on my mark fire.
Sorry, I know I keep interrupting you, but they guys keep saying really funny things. Refos has just said, "Botal shock."
Have we sent people insane?
Sorry, I'm immune to botal shock right now. I have a boat effect,
My boat has a boat effect.
and therefore
And
I'm
there's a-
immune to botal shock.
And there's a guy inside that's boat or shark. Cool.
Sorry.
So this one is you can use the command ability, pick a sky vessel, reroll hits of 1. So it's just the same command ability you can use from the generic ones. I don't know why they've had to give them one with a special name.
Well,
but
it's
they
a
did.
dwarf unit, so they have to repeat rules ad infinitum.
Yep.
Like just to really drill it home. Yeah.
So that's in its garrison, and then repel borders. So again, but this one is +1 to hit for any models for the sky vessel and for its garrison.
Right.
So and that's +1 to hit as opposed to reroll 1s to hit. So that's the repel borders is quite good, except that most stuff in the boat are probably not that great at fighting, other than the admiral himself. But there you go. It's there. It's not terrible, but it's not great. And then up and Adam, use the command ability at the start of your charge phase. Pick a friendly Skyfarer's unit wholly within 12. Reroll charge rolls. So exactly the same again as generic ones.
Yeah, so in here it says they had to put it on the scroll because of his ability artifact that refunds CP used from a scroll.
Okay. Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
So thanks Texamon for that. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
well picked up on that.
Well
yeah,
picked up.
Yeah, because you got that 5-up 8th
Yeah.
quartz brooch effectively.
Yeah.
But it has to be
So
on his
that's-
scroll.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's a nice little combo. That I hadn't thought of that. And that was in Barrack.
What?
Well,
A
someone-
barrack. It was in
Yeah.
a barrack.
It wasn't in Barack Obama, which is the only one I truly cared about.
Oh, what? No, the last one was the best one.
I didn't
best
like
picture.
Scary Pirates because
No.
Nathan said it with loads of enthusiasm,
Yeah.
which I found scary.
Yeah,
Um,
I cried a little.
yeah.
Internally.
All right, so that's the Admiral.
Yep. So then you've also got the.
Engine Master.
Navigate.
We're going to go with the Navigator next. So the Etheric Navigator, 100 points, I believe.
Yeah, correct.
And 5 wounds with a 3-up save, 4-inch move. He's got a ranging pistol, 2 shots, 3s, -1 damage. But this is the guy that can take the flare, the marker light flare.
Which is great. We've been talking about these a while, so I'm sorry that I keep interrupting. But like, you look at the model and he's got like gizmos and gadgets, and you're like, sweet. And then they're like, yeah, 2 attacks from his pistol. You're like, come on, like just give him like a fucking missile or.
He can
aether
aether the storm though.
Huh?
He can make a
Yeah,
storm.
so this guy is pretty sweet. So and then he's not anything in a fight. So he can attempt to dispel and end a spell, and he can also unbind spells in your enemy's hero phase.
Okay, so he's a pretend wizard. All right. So what's this aether storm business?
So Aether Storm, in your hero phase, pick one enemy unit within 36 inches of the model, not wholly within,
Girthy.
visible to them. Can fly, roll a dice. On a 1 to 2, nothing happens. On a 3 to 5, halve the move characteristic of that unit until your next hero phase. On a 6, they also take D3 mortal wounds and are halved
In your hero phase every turn,
every turn.
but only if it flies.
Yeah.
It's quite a
I'm
lot.
just
It's a lot
I'm
of
just thinking
things.
of all the relevant threats out there.
Oh, Archeon, just slow down, my friend.
More Crusher.
More Crusher.
Good Conterrorgeist.
All of Nighthorn.
Thermal Cloak, dickhead.
All of Terrifying Nighthorn.
Most of Zinch, except 2 of them will teleport, but still.
Yeah, they will. I mean, that will be the end of the game. But
That's pretty. It's alright.
good. It's good.
It's great.
How many points? 100 points.
Yeah. So,
Let's use
I mean,
100 points
that
then.
Aether Storm ability is sweet. And then he...
Soul's Shackles from outer space. If I was gonna take it for the Aether Storm, I'd have to take it twice to like guarantee it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like double down. Like if it was that important, how much is this guy? The Navigate 100 points.
100 points, you get an
I also get another
Unbind.
2 shots if I
Yep.
get another guy.
And you get... Yeah. So you get the Unbind and the Dispel, which is free because you're not going to be...
Yep.
going to be trying to cast any spells with them.
Is he the guy that takes the storm in a bottle?
No, that's the Aether Chemist. But so this is the guy with the Marker Light gun. So it's a 15-inch Marker Light, basically, that gives you rerolls to hit against a unit. All you have to do is hit it with your 2 3-ups.
Okay.
With one of the 3-ups.
Wow. Okay, that's pretty. With his ranging pistol.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's a relic, no, an artifact that you'd have to take.
That's an artifact. Yes. And then you could make him your general, in which case he could get a command trait as well. One of which is Skeptic, +1 to Dispel and Unbind.
Okay.
And so if you took him in Barrack now, he'd be doing 2 at +2 to Dispel and Unbind.
So you could get rid of a bunch of endless spells,
Yeah.
which is cool.
And stop magic fairly.
Yeah, Jim 1080 says you could use this guy to slow down a Bloodthirster, but if I was losing to a Bloodthirster, I would be embarrassed. So, like, I think I would be able to use tactics.
I've
to-
lost
Do you know why?
Why?
Worst-
This one sucks.
Worst guard. Definitely the most boring. Just likes blood. Boring backstory. Dull.
Yeah, it's like you read about a new Khorne champion, you're like, sweet, Spider-Man, the new.
It's like when
origin
Sigmar
story.
came out, his 19 Khorne champions. They all look the same. They all just want to kill things. Lore.
So I mean,
Boring.
if you wanted to double down on the Aether Storm, you can take Stormcaller on him, so you can re-roll that
Okay.
dice.
Right, sweet. Okay.
Rather-
Aether Navigator.
So Navigator's great. Yeah,
The
always.
chemist lets you reroll once to wound, and it also makes you -1 to hit if you're within 3 inches in the combat phase,
Cool.
right? Oh no, just any time.
And he shoots better.
Unless it's part of a garrison. And he's got decent shooting, 3d6 shots.
Yep.
9-inch range only, 4s, rend 2, damage 1. He's always had a dumb gun. Like, that's what I want on the other guy as well.
Yeah,
Like,
stupid gun.
Give a character something.
Okay.
Like,
Yeah, he's got a
He can call a
pretty sweet gun.
storm from nowhere, though. Space storm.
But, like, just give him a couple of attacks.
That guy's okay.
There's the Engine Master Nath.
So the Engine Master is got the Gaze of Grunny, like the other guy. So it's 1 shot, 3s, 2s, -1 D3 damage, and then he's got 3 attacks, 3s, 3s, -1 D3 damage with his big hammer. However, if unmodified roll for that is a 6,
Okay.
it does 3 mortal wounds instead. He can heal a Sky Vessel with D3. He can actually go inside it, unlike the other Engine Master, and he can also buff up the Engine Riggers to do healing if that's your thing.
Okay.
And again, he's got his own special.
The guy on the balloon's better, right?
Yeah, the guy on
Okay.
the balloon is better, but he's a load more points. This guy's 100 and
Cool.
odd. He's a lot cheaper.
Okay.
100.
Yeah, he's 100
Versus
points.
220 for the suit dude.
Yeah,
Right,
and
okay.
for some reason he's only got 4-up save. This guy's as well.
He's not got a balloon.
Yeah, which is sturdier than armour
And,
with an anvil on.
yeah.
So,
Science.
Yeah.
Space science. Okay, sweet. That's all the war scrolls, right?
Apart from, which I'm guessing no one's taken anymore, Brock Grungerson. He's a write-off now, right?
So yeah, so he. Well, we've
Yeah.
missed 2 actually.
Oh.
So there's Brock, who's the
Cool model. No one's going to take him because they're going to take the unnamed one.
yeah he's so this guy's got to be from Barrack Nar as well.
Asterix of Doom, thanks for subscribing. Love you tons, thanks.
Oh.
He's got quite a few shots as well. 2 shots at 3s, 2s, -2 D3 damage. 6 shots, 3s, 3s, -1 1 damage. and then 2 shots, 3s, 4s, no rend, 1 damage. 4 attacks, so he's got extra attacks on the thing, but he's a named dude, so he can't take artifacts or anything. 8 wounds with the 3-up save. After he's made a charge move, he does D3 mortal wounds on a 2-up, so because he's a fairly large guy. He can do D3 mortal wounds if he rolls a 6 to hit. He can also do the hit shot, and then his command ability is at the start of the charge phase. Reroll charge rolls for units within 24. So again, you're unlikely to see this guy, like you said.
Yeah, I think now
other
everyone
guys.
takes the unnamed guy, right?
Yeah.
By the way, he doesn't have to be in Barrack Nar. He just gets the keyword.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
Doesn't get the keywords for other barracks.
but yeah, he won't get the other
But
buffs.
super annoying. So we can't take an artifact, and he can only be in one group. I don't know what group that was.
Barrack Nar.
Yeah, but I don't know which.
And
I
then,
don't know which one that was.
Barracks.
Okay.
then the other named character we've missed out is called Bjorgen Thrundrick.
Yes, from the Shadespire Warband, now
Yeah.
called Underworlds.
So he's their chemist,
Yep.
but instead of buffing the to wound roll, he buffs the to hit roll. So he reroll ones to hit,
Which is fairly common.
which you can get from 8th goal, from command abilities and things. But if you didn't want to be spending resources on that, if you had a big unit, you could take one of these guys and one of those guys and be rerolling to hit and wound.
Which
Okay.
is cool.
But like you say, it's fairly common if you take various things, and then he's got a bunch of dudes that can go with him. So
Okay.
you can build a list around him.
Battalions.
Battalions. So we've got the Iron Sky Command. This is the potential 1-drop.
Right.
So you can take an Admiral
Mhm.
or Brock. You can take an Ironclad.
Yeah.
Then you can take 3 units of heroes. So Chemist, Navigator, Engine Master.
Right.
So that all of your heroes are sorted.
Yep.
You've got an Ironclad, 1 Archanaut Company, and then up to 1 to 3 units of Engine Riggers, the balloon guys.
The good ones. Hashtag. Yeah.
So you can get. So if you take the Engine Master with the dirigible suit,
Right.
make him your general. Then you can make your Engine Riggers
Battle.
battle line. Take an Archanaut Company anyway, because they're great for their points.
Yeah, whatever.
And then you also get an Ironclad. You can take an Admiral if you want, but you
Do
don't
you have to take an
to.
Ironclad?
You do.
Yes.
Oh, sucks.
But it does mean you've got a 1-drop list. It can teleport your unit of your Archanaut Company or...
To keep it 1-drop, you'd only get 1 boat though.
Yeah.
I'm not looking
Yeah,
at
yeah.
Rob, who's going to tell me you don't want 1 boat.
So I can teleport my balloon dudes and then I can charge, or I should just teleport
Yeah.
them? and
Yeah, you
get-
can charge, but you probably shoot everything before you charged it and it'd be dead.
Oh, so why didn't you lead the show with this?
Or you can take them in Barrack Mornar.
He-
Or
You
you,
lead
or
the show with this. It's got 1 build.
Yeah,
Barrack-
apparently. Yeah.
Barrack Obama and give them the run and shoot thing, so your Engine Riggers can be running and shooting.
Yeah.
Barrack Mornar, you get the run and shoot thing anyway.
So what's this called? Iron Sky Command.
Yeah.
Iron Sky Command.
Okay, so like that's the thing that I'm gonna like do a list review show, and I'll be like, KO. Scroll to the bottom. Is it an Iron Sky Command? Correct. Scroll back up.
Well,
then-
that's if you want the 1-drop. You don't have to take the 1-drop.
I'm not
because-
saying like because so I did a show on this today, right? Like I had like a long chat with the guys in the chat today. For me, this is obviously just me and my list building, but also what I think I'm seeing in the game. If you aren't, so there's the race to the bottom. Am I a 1-drop? Yeah. And they've traditionally been going out of the game. It's been very hard with lots of the different armies to actually produce them. Then Slaves to Darkness, Tzeentch, and KO come out, and they're like, 1-drop's back, boys. And also, like, how much damage can you do in that 1-drop? Fucking loads. You're like, all right, sweet. And I agree with you, learn to screen. That's the thing, but you can't screen shooting, which is why the KO book was initially nerfed. Change Host, this, and even Slaves to Darkness to a degree, have got First Strike Alpha that's shooting, which you
And-
can't screen against.
Unless everyone goes and buys Ideneth Deepkin.
Yeah, well, even then, it's problematic. Like,
No,
because-
just buy 2 turtles, put them at the front, everything's in cover, and you can only shoot the turtles.
But my point is,
Won the game.
yeah, my point is is that it's not that you won't see the other things. It's that this army specifically struggles against other armies to screen effectively because it doesn't have any scouting units or any it struggles to screen against the shooting. Like we also see it in the 4-drop Hallowheart list. In the it teleports with the bridge, the shooting unit over.
I think they survive quite well against mobile shooting because it's mobile shooting. So like Stormcast that ambush you and stuff like that, or Zinch, because you got cheap units in the Arkanauts, so you can screen up fair enough with them and have your big boat behind. Bearing in mind also, if they decide to attack the Arkanauts, I mean, units of 10 Arkanauts at 90 points, that's fine. Then your boat unleashes whatever it decides to against whatever's flown up. Or else, if they decide to go against the boat, you can just pop your Aether Gold, and now you've got a 3-up rerollable save on your boat.
See, now that's interesting. Yeah, that actually, there's the clincher for making it more survivable.
Yeah.
You can even put it in the
For
middle.
that turn, you can just say, this boat is going to survive.
Yeah, that's the interesting one. But then in the mirror, not in the mirror, in the counter, if you're any other army now against that particular horrible army, it's a 1-drop. It's going to put the boat 9 inches away. It's going to get out all this shooting, and it's going to be the end of the game. And I don't want the Change Host Flamers, and I also don't want this.
Yeah, well, the thing with this though is that the boat. So in that 1-drop, you don't have the Thunderers.
You've got no shooting, really.
So you've only got your Arkanaut company that can go in the boat with some
Special weapons.
Some characters and their special weapons, yeah.
But you've got the balloon dudes, right?
Yeah, and you've got 3 units of balloon dudes, but then only so many of them can teleport with the boat at a time. Right. So that's why you're going to have to give them the run and charge thing, aren't you?
Okay, yeah. And you're able to drop in and spell out of the frigate.
It's pretty limited though. I think it's a strong. It's all right, but it's limited because you've got 3 units of balloon dudes.
Yeah.
If we're making this 1-drop, so we've got 3 units of balloon dudes. If they're more than a 6, they can't teleport with the boat.
Yeah.
So you can only have 6 that are
that's not enough. Yeah.
that are going to teleport. So we've already said that's not enough.
Yeah, but
so we've got.
But they move 12 and and they get run and shoot the first turn.
Yeah, I think
so 18 and
listening
then plus
though,
the range of
in
their
your
guns.
head you're thinking like this teleports across the board, it deletes it to an army.
Well, not a whole army, but enough for it to be worthless.
Yeah. But I don't know. Because you've still got to get them out, then you've got to make a charge with the balloon dudes, and you've only got 6 across the board.
The bit I didn't understand until Nath pointed it out was I'm going to you teleport your flamers as an example. I'm just going to reroll my saves on my ironclad.
Yeah.
So now I'm all about the ironclad. I'm like, rad. I see a way for it to survive that initial interaction, which is cool. And also to pose a bit of a threat.
Yeah, and if you've taken 1 to 3 engine rigger units, say you've taken 3, and then you've obviously got the engine master, that thing is at full wounds after that first turn.
I would say you don't even need to race to the bottom then, because that's the next question. Do you even now need to race to the bottom? I don't think you need to, because you spend your Aether Gold. Problem is making sure that they hit the boat and not anything else that's just out there with its dick in the wind. Like, you got to be like, go for the 3-up save, rerollable. Don't go for
my balloon dudes.
My balloon dudes who are like, fuck.
Who are sat in cover, also on a 3-up save.
Yeah, but
and if they decide to go for that, then you're like, well, then they'll spend their reroll. Gold.
Okay, so they've got the.
Especially if you got them in a big unit. So if you got them in more than 10, they can spend Aether Gold, or unless you take the Barrack Market Garden.
Well, that's great. So they survived the first turn. That's huge.
And then
I honestly didn't think that they had that, but now I see that.
Yeah.
Right, rad.
Yeah. Your alternative, and so they get immune to battle shock within 18 of the ironclad. Yeah. But I mean, there's so much immune to battle shock in this army. I didn't realise that Emerald had that, and then there was the other one that else had it. So
there is loads.
What's going on? So battle shock.
But you're paying for a 1-drop, aren't you?
Yeah. So and then you've got the Iron Sky Command. So this one is 2 or more frigates, so you can have as many frigates as you want. You could make them battle line if you went Zilfin, and then each one has to have a Arkanaut company. Doesn't have to go in the frigate, but you have to take a company. And then what they get is your Arkanaut companies on the turn that they leave the frigate can charge 3d6 instead of 2d6, which is cool. But then you realize that you can only put 10 in, so that you've got units of 10 that are charging 3d6, and they're Arcanauts.
Yeah, I was going to say,
And
do they
they're
want to
Arcanauts,
charge?
So they're probably not that great in a fight anyway. A unit of 10 Arcanauts probably doesn't want to be fighting most things.
I guess, so the only way I see that really useful is you put them in the boat flies over whatever's screening or in your way, the Arcanauts pop out, they make a charge to an objective, and they outnumber because they're 10 to 9, because they kill one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's...
Or it minimises your drops.
It's something there. It minimises your drops, gets you the extra command ability, artifact, gets you extra command point. The 3d6 thing is not bad. It's not great. I'm not sure how many points this is, though. For the Iron Sky Attack Squadron.
Oh, no problem. I'll go find out.
Cool.
Easy peasy. Probably.
And also, you get more flexible, so you can actually leave the frigate on the same... can leave a frigate from the same battalion either before or after its move. So you're flexible at getting in and out.
So you could hop in, hop out.
You can
130.
130. So it's not bad for that. It's not.
Dexter1 says so. Basically, you fly frigates to objectives and unload Arcanauts on screens.
So it's pretty.
And they're better on objectives.
Yeah.
It's not bad. It's not. The Arcanaut frigate combo is a bit janky, but then you are more flexible on the way you move with this as well. So, and then you've got the Grundstock escort wing. So this is the one with the interesting ability. So you have to take a minimum of 2 gun haulers. You can take 3. There is a barrack where you can make those battle line.
And you have 1 Ironclad or frigate.
Yeah. 1 unit of Thunderers.
Yeah.
Which are pretty sweet. And then you can have up to 3 units of Sky Wardens, which are the bubble dudes. So again, decreases your drops a lot, but it doesn't have any scope for heroes. No,
heroes.
Yeah, because you can make either your gun haulers battle line, and that will cover all of your battle line, or you can make your Sky Wardens battle line, and that would cover all of your battle line. But again, it's just heroes. But bearing in mind, you might not need as many heroes as a lot of other armies use, because you can hide your heroes in boats.
Yes.
And so, and then at the start of your shooting phase, pick an enemy unit just anywhere on the board for focus fire, and you can reroll hits of 1 for attacks made from the whole battalion that target that.
Which, with the big long range shots and the gun haulers, potentially reroll ones to hit. Ironclads as well, reroll ones to hit.
Yeah, your Thunderers or your Sky Wardens, that unit of those big units of bubble dudes that you've given all the special attack guns can just suddenly focus fire against something. So.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it in total. Like, it's nice now seeing where you can unlock not the strengths, but like
it's a load of synergies, right?
I wouldn't say overly so. It's really about that Aether Gold, like Nathan said at the start. That's the key part, right? Like, where you're going to apply that in the book. That's the strength, which...
Aether Gold is a super strong ability, and then you
trials.
do actually get a load of extra little buffs on your code, basically. The code is still cool. I like the code.
No, narratively, I've always liked it, right?
Yeah, narratively, but also there's some useful things in there. Run and charge, ambushing your things, and always strikes thing first that we've not, again, so in your Barrack Mornar, that unit of engine riggers that you charge in, they've got the always strikes first, so it means you could charge 2 units in, and they're going to always strike, and then the other one.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying.
Or it'll override, like, Slanesh, put the focus on them. It just means that now it strikes in turn, so it still gets to strike first. It's your turn.
Yeah, and you've shot with all those models as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like,
I think these, it will enjoy fighting Slanesh anyway.
Yeah. Like, I was like, in Tempest Eye they're actually quite good, but then that's not true, because in Tempest Eye they won't get access that I want them to have to the full rerolls to hit from the Triumph, from the gold. So it's the gold that really makes this army work. Like, and it's really interesting. Like, The frigate's crap. Not the frigate, sorry, the Ironclad. In my opinion, Ironclad, I'm like, nah, it's too many points. It's just going to die. And it's like, I can reroll all my saves. I'm like, okay, never mind.
It's keeping it alive a turn, though, isn't it?
Which is all you need, I think.
But then, if you take merchants, you do that twice.
Yeah, but all I want is the turn to survive, to do some moving. That's
to
all
get
I
them
want.
all out.
Yeah, no, well, not even just get them out. To play the game. I just want to be able to play the game. Like, and if I can't screen or protect something well enough without having to do anything, so I think that's quite good.
So yeah, and obviously they've got. I really rate the Arkanauts as a cheap 90-point unit with a 4-up save.
There is little with that lower battle liner.
Crazy good.
I mean
so
never
that's
orders,
comparable to.
So what did you say?
90 points for the Arkanauts.
It's great.
It's 10 wounds with a 4-up save, so it's the same as Ard Boys basically.
Yeah.
Sure, they don't have maybe the same level of output, they definitely don't have the same level of output in combat, but they have got a combination of things with their special weapons and other stuff, and with the access to the other thing, I think it's great.
They're not Marauders, but they're okay.
No, and everyone said in the chat, but in Tempestar you can't easily get +1 to hit and +1 to wound and reroll ones to hit. That's can't, not can. In Tempestar you will get +1 to hit from Hurricane and +1 to wound from General trait. So is it worse than 1 reroll per game? Like I said, I think that there's a totality game happening in the minute where my unit does kill your unit kills my unit back. So I think the game for me feels a lot more like board positioning and engagement as opposed to run at each other and attrition. The game is I have to engage and then win that engagement when I get there. So units are more total, more movement and output are always going to be the winners. But some units. I think
there's and I think that was the interesting thing. Like sometimes you can put that attrition game into someone, and at the minute it messes up like that current play style.
Yeah,
but realistically, at the minute it is like I'm going to alpha your unit. Then you're going to alpha a unit back, and who's going to win this?
Potentially, yeah. That's the problem. Or you give yourself the first turn to actually do something and engage. Interesting, Nath.
Has Nathan sold you the book?
I'm excited about Balloon Boys. They're fast. They can shoot. I like the idea of shooting, and also I played a Dwarf Army for over a year. And one of the things I really liked about when I look at the Arkanauts, I see my Fireglaves. They're cheaper than my Fireglaves, and they're not. I don't think they're as good as the Fireglaves because the Fireglaves did the mortal wounds on 6s. But they're different, or they're just as good but different because these guys have got access to the Skyhooks.
Yep.
So they've got that long range threat which the Fireglaves didn't have, which is good. But when you look at the Arcanaut company, you think it's a shooting unit. It still does also have a close combat attack. So those blobs of 30, which are quite cheap, basically have 2 attack profiles, which a lot of battle line units don't have.
Yep.
Like the Marauders are a dumb example because they're just way too good.
Whoa!
But if you look at Skinks, Skinks are used just to chaff and then run away.
Yep.
And that's an amazing ability, don't get me wrong. It's really powerful, but they've got no output.
Yep.
These don't have overly some output, but they're, I'd be tempted with the light Skyhooks to just be sniping characters all day long.
And they're better on an objective.
Yeah,
which is good.
Yeah, I'd just be constantly threatening characters, which my Fireglaves could never do. They had to be within 20 inches, whereas this is 24 inches. It's a lot harder to deal with.
But the question is it a thumbs up, thumbs middle, thumbs down?
That's a great question. Nathan, what do you think? Big thumb up.
Yeah.
James, what do you think?
Yeah.
Twitch chat, what do you think? I'm going Balloon Boys. I'm mainly going the Balloon Boy
But that's fine.
And Balloon Boys.
We started with it only got one build. You said it's Balloon Boys.
No. It really is when it's sunk in places when you realise you can use the gold for things.
Yep.
And you're like, okay, all right, I see some things now. But it does, in my opinion, make MSU less important, and it makes using that one. I know you can use the 1 gold on all the different units because you can use 1 gold per phase.
Yeah.
I want a larger unit to apply once.
Yeah.
So that seems to make sense to me.
So you'd be tempted by the market one where you can then give them 2 gold.
No, not really, because again, it's about applying it at the right moment.
Yeah.
I think.
Just having access to it once is enough.
For me, I feel like in some cases, yes, because again, I don't think that those Balloon Boys. It's 400 points for 24 wounds with a 4-up save. Like, that's not bad. Like, and if you look at it in a monster, you think, all right, like, it's twice as good as a Bloodthirster, but it costs twice as much as a Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you'd take 2 Bloodthirsters?
Never, ever. Propagation gives it a thumb. Haywo says, meh. Bling Bling says, I'm much more excited about this book now. I'm keeping the 2 Aether War boxes that arrived today and begin list building, but it's going to take me time to put it together.
Oh,
Reflex.
that's 2 of those wizards. 2 of those ancient wizards. Sell them. I'll have one.
Yeah. Reflex says, I like it. Granari says, it would be good if we still had Old Chemist, but as it is, it will be meh, okayish. I think the Old Chemist, looking at it now, I don't like the 1-drop because I don't like. I want this said real clearly. I don't like what the change host with the flamers does. I don't want you to deploy your army, me to deploy my army, and me go, I go first, and you go, and me go, I can choose, and you go, okay. Now look at your army and go, cool. I can delete your 2 threats before I do anything. End of game. And you're like, oh, rubbish. That's a rubbish game.
Yep.
No one wants to play that game, in my opinion. So, like,
I think realistically, whatever this book was, it had to be better than the old KO book as well, because it was terrible.
I'd see again. Like, I think the old KO. I think Arcanauts were always like the bread and butter of the old KO.
Yeah. But I mean, like, the book as a whole, was terrible.
Well, I mean, the narrative was fantastic. Some of the best narrative they've done.
Yeah, but
like,
the book was like, as in the rules and the army were terrible.
It's because it got retconned so much. It had to be restarted.
The only war scroll rewritten and put in a general's handbook.
Yes, ever. Yeah, that's true. Dexamon says, I love KO, but I mostly play more casually tournaments, drinking fruity drinks at lower tables.
Oh,
fruit tingles.
See you there.
This army seems fun and engaging, but it has a world of opportunities for conversion, which is half the hobby for me.
Well, I think if you want to play a horrible list that isn't fun and engaging, there are the opportunities there too.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I also agree with that statement.
Don't be that person.
Well, it's not.
James
fun, right?
James Powell says, "Don't be that person."
Big thumbs up from me, says Joel McGrath. Book full of viable units in different playstyles. It is in a much better spot than where it was.
Yep.
I like it. Says Reflex translation. Skybeard's making metal things to steal things. Take for greatest best horn rap. Okay, and Tristan gives it a thumb up. All right. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for doing it. Nathan, appreciate you giving us the positive outlook.
Well, when I was looking at the leaked pictures that we saw of the War Scrolls, I was just thinking the rules are great. Like, they're good rules at the end of the day.
Okay.
There's no, they're not shockingly bad, and there's no like, oh well, this is unusable type things.
Well, I think it's that they don't have any. Maybe it's that they don't have any of the flavour, and it's not to be rude, but like the Sky Wardens with the mines, it's just like, write a different fucking rule.
Yeah, I admit some of the rules just seem to be okay. So I was wrong. Yeah, I mean, none of the units are unusable. Some of the rules are like a bit meh, like you say, like the mines rules.
Yeah, but it's super annoying, the skink rule, but it's like, it's really flavourful, and like it makes the army come alive. Like, I love the idea
that wins games.
It does, and I love the idea of a guy wearing a pirate hat, pirate beard, like with a little coin purse full of gold, and he spends it, and I'm like, I'm into that. But like, that seems to be the whole, not gimmick, but seems to be like the only flavour that I feel in the book. Like, it's like the boat, and some dudes get on the boat, you're like, all right, whatever. Maybe because we're inured to it now, like we've seen it too much. But like, the war scrolls themselves.
I think the garrisoning thing is cool as well. The fact that they can shoot out the boat now is great.
It's better.
Yeah, it's
all
just great.
Yeah, no, that does make sense.
I do like the garrison. What they've done with the garrisoning thing.
I think they just didn't put enough like rules on their war scroll, right? Like just a thing. Just give me a thing, like something that's like rad. Like the original, with the, can you still do the 24-inch teleport with the sky, the hook?
Yeah.
Well then, all right, that's fine. All right, never mind.
With the hook.
You know when you shot the hook and then you move 24 inches on a 4+.
No, but you don't. You just fly high. So
yeah, I know, but I don't care. That was rad.
Great.
Like, it was a cool thing. There was like a bunch of balloon boys. They shot a hook. They ziplined across.
Yeah, the hook gives you +1 to charge now. And the other hook makes people unable to run away. So it's like, I'm trying to escape. And then you grab more hook them and pull them back.
Yeah. Oh, sad. Bling Marine says, finding the various synergies seems to be the big challenge in this book. So thanks for unlocking them, Nath. James, thanks for being an amazing human and merch craft.
Just hanging out.
Thanks for everyone in the Grot gang. Nath, thanks for being the leader of the Grot Gang.
Thanks.
Yeah, I
Thanks.
appreciate
Thanks
it.
for
Head grot. Let's salute.
Right, yeah, salute the leader of the Grot Gang. Haywo says that's the most boring downgrade from a formerly rad ability. Used to be attack on Titan, grapnel, swing. Yeah, it was a cool ability. Maybe that's why the book seems uninspiring, because it doesn't have a lot of...
Nice done his job. He's put his hat on.
Right, it's done. He's done. Yeah, he's like,
Is
ready.
that
I'm out.
on the whole top? Where's your hat?
It's in my coat.
Put your hood on.
Anyway.
Breaking everything. Ah!
Oh, no.
There you
Anyway,
go.
you guys have been great. Thank you both to you two.
Thank you.
Thanks to everyone on the Small Game Patreon. Thank you. Don't forget to join us for our daily shows. If you're on the podcast, please stay hydrated. Don't forget, we've got CanCon, I think, in 11 days at this stage. So if you like the podcast, let people know. If you've enjoyed the videos, let people know. Please join us for the CanCon coverage. I'd like to make this statement that I think it's going to be the best coverage that's ever happened in the history of wargaming. I'm pretty certain. I'm working dead hard to make it so. So please do join us for that. I've got an amazing cast. Vince from Trella, Gemma, Nick Hohen. There's a great group of people who are going to be helping us doing the coverage, as well as Clinto and possibly one of the best Age of Sigmar communities on Earth in the Australians at the event. So it's going to be pretty rad. So do join us.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you later.
Thank you. And I think we've got a catchphrase for Tony Ready. Don't forget to join the Grot Gang. Or maybe someone else.
Hashtag grot gang.
Hashtag Grot Gang.
Scary pirates coming for you, man.
Could they be grots? Could they be grot pirates? Therefore, grot gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh, if we made an entire Kharadron Overlords army that was made of grots, we could make people walk the grot gangplank.
Oh,
Good night and thank you.